Well, we're going to do it one more time. Hey, I'm Tom Gresham. It is Gun Talk. Glad that you could be here, and I am live, kind of semi-live. We're on the floor of the SHOT Show again. Yes, last week we were doing a SHOT Show. We're doing another one because there's just way too much to cover. You can't believe it. We've got 80,000 square feet here in Las Vegas. It is the thank you, 800,000. That Jim jumps in my ear. It's yes, you're right, 800,000. It's a huge show, massive show. 2,400 exhibitors. It is the shooting, hunting, and outdoor trade show. It is the industry trade show for the firearms industry. Gun makers, distributors, retailers are here. Optics, clothing, I mean, whatever you want. Game calls, it's all here. If you can't find it here, you're just at the wrong place. As simple as that. A lot of things happening, and here's the deal. Fair warning, I'll probably give out the number for you to call in because I just automatically do that. You can't call in because this is actually being recorded in Vegas, and now you're hearing it later. However, if you're fortunate enough, right now we're live streaming this thing on Facebook and YouTube. So if you haven't caught it when we did it live, if you're just hearing this on the radio or on the podcast, you can go back on our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel at Gun Talk, and you can check that out and see what we're doing. All right, joined right now by our good friend Ryan Rep from Brownells. Ryan, it's a great show. I mean, we were just talking about how much we're enjoying this thing.
Yeah.
And we get together with all of our old friends, and everybody always comes up and says exactly the same thing, which I'm going to say to you, what's new?
What's new?
Yeah.
Well, what's new at Brownells? We've got cool things coming in 2022.
Okay.
And we'll get started, Tom. So the first thing is, and the thing that was probably most popular for us at Range Day was our new MPO donut scope. So a couple years ago,
you guys have gotten into optics.
We did, yeah. A couple years ago, we got into optics, and I would say the goal of our optics program is to where we can squeeze out just a little bit more quality for the price, right? So
okay.
we try to keep the price at a really manageable with a really good quality scope. And so we're out with our MPO line. We call it Match Precision Optics. We've got a 1-6 out this time called a donut.
Is a donut reticle?
It's got a donut reticle, yeah. So it looks exactly like a donut in the reticle. Really fast target acquisition.
Sure.
You could stay on top of it. Very clear. But the really cool part of this one is that it's at $440 price point, and you get Japanese glass.
For those who don't know, Japanese glass is what you want. I mean, that's the real good stuff.
That's right.
Because there are frankly, a lot of optics are coming from other countries, China, and man, when you can get Japanese glass, that's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade, yeah. And at the $440, I think it's $439.99 will be the price on it. It's available for pre-order now. Yeah. That's we'll kind of own the market at that price point.
Primarily competition.
Yeah, it's primarily competitive.
But you know what? I would put that on a home defense gun.
No, it would be perfect. It would be great for like a CQB type situation.
Right. I mean, if I put that thing on one power with a donut,
right.
You just put the donut where you want it to go, and do what you got to do.
That's exactly it. And I think the part that people were really excited about out at Range Day was still no problem hitting a 3-inch plate at 150 with it.
Right. Because you can dial it up to 6 power, you're good to go.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. All right. So that's your optics deal. I know you got other things going.
Yeah. So we got a couple of additions coming in the BRN 180 line. Of course, it's the copy of it's the Brownells version of the AR 18 or AR 180 that was go back in the 60s,
the
right?
Original.
Yeah. So and those BRN 180s have been tremendously popular. And so we're just out with it's available now as the BRN Sport model, which is a slight edit to the charging handle. So in the original AR 180, it had kind of a charging handle that kind of came out and up. Well, with modern day mounts, sometimes that interferes. So some of the feedback that we had there was to straighten out the profile of the charging handle, and we did it because it's a sport version. We did a delete on the dust cover.
What is the appeal? Beyond just, this is historical, this is cool, this is what it used to be. What's the appeal of somebody buying a BRN 180?
I think that they really like that internal gas piston system, and they like that they can have something that they can fold up really easily.
Well, I gotta say, people don't. If they haven't seen it, they got to go to the website because you can.
Right.
You have a folding stock on this because of the internal gas system.
That's right. Does not need a buffer system, so you can shoot it folded easily. Of course, we have other options. Law Tactical being a great option for if you want to make your current gun a folder, but the BRN 180s have just been crazy popular. Plus, I think it's something just a little bit different.
Yes, yes, I already have 3 or 6 or 12 ARs,
right?
Which a lot of us do.
Right.
And you go, I want something different.
Yeah.
This is cool. And you guys have gotten huge into the whole builder world.
Yeah. That's it's kind of funny. We actually had a discussion amongst our leadership team a while back, and we kind of looking around at the various folks who do what we do, and what really is our unique piece, and our unique piece is that we focus on the guy who's kind of rolling his own, right? The guy who's who wants to make edits to his gun, make it better, make it faster, make it more accurate, and so we're really gonna be focusing on more kits and that sort of thing to help builders do what they do, and that includes education.
It occurs to me, I'm just thinking about Brownells, the history of Brownells.
Yeah.
This is absolutely true to the original Brownells, which is selling gunsmith parts and kits and tools to people who are doing modifications or even building guns on
Right.
their kitchen table.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, Tom, you go way back with our company just
Yeah.
as well as anybody. But it's kind of funny when I sit and I'm very much aware of the history of the company. I think about the things that Bob Brownell did and the things that Pete Brownell is doing now, two
Right.
generations later, and they're very similar in a way. So
Different products, but the same thing.
Right, and I'm even really specifically talking about the education. So we've got a great YouTube
Okay.
channel. We bring people in, we help them understand, we help them how to build, help them understand how to build. We're going to continue to do more of that. But Bob Brownell,
Gunsmith Kinks.
Gunsmith Kinks.
The
I mean,
books.
it's just literally the
version of volume 1, 2, and 3, right?
That's it.
Of
That's it.
Kinks. And that was basically how to do these things. It was educational before we had video streaming.
That's right. So we just literally do it now in a very different way.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
and,
which is
and
kinda
you
cool.
guys have a full media center that you take advantage of there.
We do, yeah. We know right now the best place to find us on, our content really is on YouTube. The website doesn't host it really well, but there's cool news coming on the website.
Talk to me.
Yeah, so I will even say that those of us on the leadership team and down through the organization are not happy with the current website. And we, it really depends on, from the customer's perspective, what your level of kind of ability, what your firearm level of knowledge is, because lots of people can go to the site now. If you're a real hardcore gun guy, you know exactly where to go, you know exactly where to find things.
Okay.
But for that, less than PhD gun guy, somebody's in gun high school.
You can get
if
lost
will,
in there.
It's easy to get lost.
Okay.
So Q3, we're looking at. We will launch a new website that is far more robust. But for the end user, it's going to be far easier to find things.
Okay.
There's some back-end technology that we're working on to make it easier to find things, to make sure the specs are more clear on all the products.
Because your existing website and software and all is probably somewhere in the 10-year-old.
It's that
range.
you're always kind of tweaking
Of
on
course.
websites.
Yeah,
but its basis is beyond 10 years, frankly.
Yeah, and that's forever.
Oh,
So, and I know the rest of us are going, yeah, that's fine. How's it going to affect me? Internally, you're looking at it going, this is such a major thing.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time and
Right.
great big buckets of money to do.
Oh yeah, tremendously. I mean, so there's always the website, the thing that everybody sees, but there's like 6 systems behind it.
Right.
And replacing those, you have to do
inventory. It's like,
Right.
okay, if we're out of it here, we don't want it to be still showing up on the website.
first.
Simple as that.
Exactly. So that's been a 4-year process. So the first.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So the huge tech transformational year. But the other thing that we will be able to do is you won't have to go to YouTube to find it. We'll have a great content section on the site that will be navigable.
You're going to host your own videos.
Yeah, it'll be far more robust there, so people can find the content they want
That's
without
so
us having to
smart.
rely on YouTube, obviously.
Well, so smart because as we have talked about, at any given time on any of these social media platforms, they could just say, no guns, gone.
Yeah, and you can't, particularly doing what we do. We can't play on somebody else's playground.
Right, smart. All right, so what else you guys got going?
Yeah, those are the highlights. There is one quick interesting one coming from in the BRN 180 line again. Is it probably in the summer a 7.62 by 39 version of the BRN 180. So I think that one will be pretty popular. It's not on the site yet. We're still we were hoping to have it by the show. It's
Right.
still not running quite right, so obviously we're not going to go to market with something we don't like yet quite. But I think that'll be pretty popular for us as well.
And I don't want us to end without talking about one other thing. People are planning their summer vacations now.
Yeah.
And you have like one of the greatest showrooms, gun store, visitor center places. It's just so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. We've got a place right on I-80. If you're cruising through Iowa, it's about an hour east of Des Moines. You cannot miss the building right there, and it's open to the public. We're open 7 days a week there.
Is that the exit for Grinnell?
It's the Grinnell exit.
Yeah.
For those familiar, it's exit 182 in Iowa.
Okay. And if you are flying a small plane, you can land at the Grinnell Airport, and it's a short hike to the Brownells building from there.
You can walk from there,
Yes.
or if you're our good friend Doug Turnbull, you just land directly in the field next to it.
Did he really?
He actually did that one time.
Yeah, he's got for those who don't know, Doug has a PA-12, Piper PA-12, which I actually have a PA-12 also. But Doug's is fixed up for exactly that. He go land in a cornfield or something. And there might be a cornfield in Iowa somewhere.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we could find one.
Ryan, thank you so much. If people want to know more, just brownells.com.
That's it.
There you go. All right, taking a quick break here. We're going to come back. We're going to have another Ryan. This one's actually a buddy of yours.
Yes, he is.
We're going to have the former Secretary of Interior joining us here in just a sec. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
Be right back. Okay. Always fire. Heather? We can get him up here. You wouldn't get anywhere because this is being recorded right now, and you're hearing it a week and a half after we're recording it at the SHOT Show. I'm Tom Gresham. It is Gun Talk. Glad that you could be with us. We are actually at the Gun Talk booth, which is kind of cool, at the SHOT Show 2022. I know a lot of people said, oh, they're not even going to have the SHOT Show. Yes, we're having it. We got 2,400 exhibitors and somewhere in the neighborhood of 40,000 attendees. A lot of things going on, a lot of things very cool. It is a true pleasure right now to bring in Ryan Zinke, former Secretary of Interior, now running for governor in Montana. Also spent just a little bit of time in the U.S. military. You want to just tell us quickly about that, if you could?
Well, I did 23 years a SEAL. I was SEAL Team 1, couple tours at SEAL Team 6. Probably the biggest command I had responsibility was a Special Forces commander in Iraq. It's funny, my SEAL career, I did 23 years in the SEALs, but, my career, I was never the best jumper, diver, explosive expert, but I always knew who was. and I was able to surround myself with just brilliantly dedicated Americans. Evolution, I call myself the 2.0 version.
Okay.
Today, I spent most of my career, we trained hard. We were trying to figure out how to integrate technology on the battlefield.
Right.
And then occasionally we'd go to conflict. These guys today, they come in, they're going to be in conflict the entirety of their career, and they have mastered technology in the battlefield, weapon systems across the board, so they're the 4.0 version.
Oh, my. All right, so with your experience and everything, and we're looking at what's happening like in the last 48 hours, Russia, minor incursions, all that's going on. I know you got a take on that.
Well, this is what happens when we show weakness. And certainly Russia, Ukraine is a concern. China moving on Taiwan is a concern. But it stems from a perceived weakness of the U.S. And some of that weakness is from Afghanistan. And
Sure.
with Afghanistan, first time in my lifetime that we abandoned our citizens. And we not only abandoned our citizens, we welded the gates shut
Yeah.
in Kabul and willingly and knowingly left U.S. citizens outside the perimeter to defend themselves. That is abandonment of citizens, our principals, our allies.
That had to leave you incensed when you watched that happen.
It did, and there's a lot of pain in Afghanistan. And I advised the president that it was time to withdraw, but you withdraw on the basis of strength, resolve, and conditions, not on retreat and weakness. And you saw, and the military itself took a lot of hits on trust. And this is what we're seeing across the country. And I'm running for Congress, but you see this across Montana and the states that we don't trust any aspect of our government anymore.
Right. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of that.
And there isn't an agency, a division, a department that has a full trust and confidence of the American people. And we need to fix that. You fix it by transparency, holding people accountable.
Right.
But what's happening is it seems, whether it's vaccinations or Second Amendment or global warming, is that if you don't march in line, in step,
Right.
you get harassed.
Oh, yeah.
In some cases, you lose your job.
It is a
you get
version.
shamed.
It's an extension of the whole cancel culture.
Well, and that strikes at the freedom of speech. And
Well,
you
not
look
on-
at here.
Not only that, no one has a lock on good ideas. And if you say, I'm not going to listen to your ideas because I just don't want to hear them, you miss out on maybe an opportunity to improve the whole situation. If
Well,
they're-
yeah, and I would say the biggest threat facing the U.S. is not Russia, it's not China, it's not even Iran. It's the division with this country. And it's being fanned a lot by media that you have to take either a right or a red. In America, we shouldn't hate our neighbors. I
Well,
spend most of my life defending Americans.
Look,
We shouldn't hate other Americans.
You've been a Washington denizen. You've done the whole Washington, D.C. thing. You understand that the media, for a lot of them, this is simply how they make their money. The more they can divide people and get them all geared up to hate, they can get people to continue to tune in. That's just their business model.
What's so funny is that this is an area that where President Trump and I did disagree. I said, Mr. President, now I'm Secretary of Interior. There's a lot of beautiful swamps out in our country. There's beautiful swamps in Louisiana and Mississippi. D.C. is not a swamp. It's a sewer. He goes, I've already branded it.
Drain the sewer doesn't sound the same.
Well, yeah, it doesn't sound the same. But, part of the issue is we've seen a consolidation of power in D.C., and oftentimes that consolidation of power has resulted in losing the value and a face of the issues and not understanding how the rest of the country is feeling. In the case of Interior, how do you think you can manage the Yellowstone River from D.C. if you don't know where it is?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And the only context of the Yellowstone River is beautiful Kevin Costner Yellowstone.
They've seen the show, but that's Hollywood.
That is Hollywood.
I mean, come on.
Great show, well acted.
It is.
But it is Hollywood. It's fiction, folks.
Yes, it is. So you are a resident of Montana, clearly.
Yep. Multiple generations in Montana. The only time I have been in Montana when I served my country. But, I find myself being a little bit of a cheerleader as of late because there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt across America. And it is totally fixable, by the way. Our country is fixable, but it takes active participation by us. It's almost like we were in a bus. We're doing our business, and all of a sudden we look up. We don't know where we're at. There's no bus driver.
Oh.
That's because we left it unattended. That's the school boards, the county level, the state level, and the federal level. We need to take our country back and take it and move some of the decision making and power outside of D.C. back to where it belongs, where issues are discussed locally where they matter.
And the other thing, and I've said this for years, is look, where do you think politicians in Washington come from? They come from originally being on the school board, being on the city council, being in the legislature. If you get involved at that level, you start the process of selecting good people and getting involved. I've been saying for years, Go to your local school board meetings. Just sit in the back. You don't have to say anything. After like the second or third time, the people sitting up there are going to be starting getting nervous. Who are those guys who are sitting back there all the time? You know, but
Yeah.
but you got to know what's going on. You got to be a participant.
You do, and a great democracy such as ours takes active participation. And we're looking at the elections coming up in 2022. These are my thoughts. The sequence is, I believe the House will go to the Republicans, but the Republicans have to learn to lead.
Tell me about it.
And
they don't know what to do when they catch the car.
Well, and there's the operational patience is pretty thin, so they're going to expect, people should expect results, and they should get results. But the power of Congress, because we're still going to have a Biden-Harris administration, but the House is important because the House can do two things. One is it can investigate, and there's going to be a temptation to investigate everything. My counsel is to investigate what's important, but don't have a wall of investigation. And secondly, and most importantly, the House has the power of the purse. Now, what we've seen is an overregulation, overreach the federal government. And a lot of these things we really find that rub against the Constitution. And what the House can do is go through appropriation process and zero out a lot of these regulations, meaning that don't spend any money on it.
Right.
And if you do spend any money on it, we're going to investigate you.
Right.
So, but the appropriation process in the House takes guess of what it takes a lot of is called work.
Yes.
So you can't, as members, fly in on Tuesday and fly out on Thursday, and it's going to take an enormous amount of work. And I think we're also going to have a lot of new members, and there's a pretty steep learning curve on Congress, how it works, committees, and et cetera.
Right.
But it's going to take a lot of coaching. It's going to take a lot of mentorship. And I think Kevin McCarthy is going to be the starting quarterback, but there's a lot of pressure on him to make sure you put points on the board.
Right.
And I think the expectations are let's investigate what's important, let's get the budget, let's defund those things that we find or rub against the Constitution, and put ourselves in a position for the presidency in 2024.
Sounds good. Hold that thought a second. Quick break here. We're talking with Ryan Zinke, former Secretary of Interior. He's running for Congress in Montana. We'll be right back with more gun talk.
And then what's some exciting things in the gun show that I've seen. I saw a new really easy to pick up. And I know we've had some of the bigger players.
All right, now
not show up.
so we're in a commercial break
Okay,
right now.
yeah.
Okay, yes. Fine.
But I just, what
Yeah,
we can
no,
talk
that's
about.
fine.
But I've
With you, Tom Gresham. It's Gun Talk. We're visiting with Ryan Zinke, former Secretary of Interior, now running for Congress in Montana, Navy SEAL, and served his country in a lot of different ways. Ryan, I got to ask you the story. I heard you jumped onto a Russian ship. What is that all about? Wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. Go ahead.
As soon as the Soviet Union kind of dismantled, we organized the first joint exercise with the Russian Spetsnaz, and it was in the Baltic Sea Ocean, and we ended up jumping in the middle of the ocean and landing on the the Russian ship Natsushima. And it was interesting because I was a SEAL Team 6 guy, and we finally get to the ship. There's obviously some translation issues.
Yeah.
But I get aboard the ship, and this guy he looks like a SEAL Team 6 guy, and he says, "You're from Damnick." He knew more about me than I knew about the ship, and but it was interesting. I learned a lot about the Russians. They don't have a lot of money. Their GDP is pretty slow. They're nuclear power, but a lot of their military hardware is pretty aged.
Is that right?
The ship, it was their flagship, and they had brought it out of the yards and it had a new paint. But the Russian military puts all their hardware and armament and weapon systems on the deck, and their idea is to launch everything at once. We're more magazine fed. But they had painted this ship, and they painted shut every weapon system. They couldn't fire a Pop-Tart off that thing. But it looked very formidable from a distance.
But it was all painted shut.
Yeah.
It's like painting your windows shut on your house.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my gosh.
I tell you, I worked with the Russians in Kosovo, and I got to tell you, the Russians are tough.
Yeah.
In tongue in cheek, I think the Russians kind of enjoy suffering because they're so good at it. But they are tough. So.
All right. So obviously, longtime military guy. Let's transition to, in the U.S., Second Amendment. Always a battle. You've been through the D.C. thing. You understand it. And frankly, I will tell you, we get some people who were former military, and they go, "Yeah, but we need more controls on guns." I'm going, what were you fighting for when you were doing this?
Well, the Second Amendment is not about hunting. It's about, for the common man or woman, to protect themselves, their home, their family, and their way of life against tyrants and those that would threaten that way of life. And in many ways, the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment.
Well, sure.
And I think the heart of America is really about three things. It's about limited government. It's about self-determination. The government shouldn't tell you what to be or what to become. And lastly, protection of the constitutional freedoms, all of them. And there's a way to amend the Constitution. We've amended it multiple times. Women vote all the time.
Right.
But there's a process to it. But, I've given a blood oath to defend and support the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I never really thought about domestic until recently. I thought, well, domestic must be in context with the British and the Loyalists. But no, there are internal forces that hate this country, that believe the Constitution was racist, and you see it. The cancel culture is really trying to cancel what I think is the heart and the goodness of this country. And we do have to attend to people that don't believe the opportunity is the same for them. Mm-hmm. And I am all about helping people find the ladder of success and get them that first rung. But ultimately, they got to climb the ladder themselves.
You got to step up and go. Yeah.
But we owe it to make sure they know where that ladder is, and the opportunity is the same opportunity is available for you as it is for the rest of Americans. But the hatred in this country against other Americans, we got to stop that. We got to get back to civil discourse. Mm-hmm. Let's not hate our neighbor. Let's not hate other Americans. Because it's distracting us from solving some of the larger issues we have in this country, like immigration, like inflation, and you can take immigration all the way, these different issues across the board. Vaccinations, I think they're.
All right, let me jump in.
unconstitutional.
You're running for Congress from Montana. The website is Ryan Zinke, Zinke, RyanZinke.com. Obviously, you want votes for Montana, but I would imagine, as we know, money is the mother's milk of politics.
And it's interesting, the problems we face, Montana has its own internal issues, but a lot of the problems we face are national issues. The border is a national issue.
Well, that's
Inflation
what I'm saying. You don't have to live in Montana if you say, okay, I like the way this guy sounds. I want to help him.
Yeah, and
I mean,
and
that's where the political contributions come in.
Well, and it's up to all of us to fix this thing, because we all rise and fall in the same tide. Having our country be successful, it gives the opportunity for us all to be successful, and vice versa. If
So
this
each of us
country
has to
fails,
step
we're all going down.
Well, yeah, where are we going to go?
Well,
This is it.
The America that we love will perish, and that's at risk. So in this election cycle, I think the majority, Republican majority, is critical. The Republicans have to lead. The Republicans show that they are worthy of the American public's trust and put us in a position where on 2024 we'll have a president who will save the country. There's no plan B. This is it, folks.
This must happen.
This is it, and all of us have to do our duty, whether it's a school board or county positions or federal positions. All of us have to do it, and if you're inclined, get involved, participate.
There it is. Secretary Zinke, thank you so much for being here. I
my
appreciate
pleasure.
it. I appreciate it.
There's no greater place than the gun show.
I mean, come on.
This is red, white, and blue America.
This is as good as it gets.
in
right
every
here.
aisle, 100%.
All right. We'll be right back with more gun talk. We were just having a ball. And so we've got people coming and sitting down. We're at the SHOT Show. Actually, I was going to say live at the SHOT Show. We're live recorded at the SHOT Show. We're having some fun around here. Hi, guys. I'm going to open your mics. Okay. We got Tom Scott from Kimber. We got Shelly from Boot Campaign.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to move this microphone up. Wait a minute. Let me move this cable around for you.
Thank you.
We're going to try that. Put that over the top of your head. There we go. We are really working on this. Flip it around the other way. There we go. Tom, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Tom. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Man, it is crazy around here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Kimber. Wow. What you guys have done in the last few years is insane.
I know. It's been crazy. 2020 was a great year for us. 2021 was a record year, and we think 2022 is going to be even better.
And, I mean, on top of just product, I'm talking about physical locations and plants and where you guys are making stuff. And you might just explain a little bit about that for people who haven't been watching.
Oh, yeah. We relocated our headquarters to Troy, Alabama. We built a world-class facility there, and we've hired somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 people. And we're
Wait. 600 people?
Oh, yeah. Our HR team is busy.
Holy cow.
Yep. So we're cranking out as many guns as we can. We know that we've got significant backlogs still, but that's going to help us have a great year, and we're committed to building it.
You got to have a lot of people in Alabama going, I get to work at Kimber? This is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really. You know, I heard somebody not at Kimber said the plant that you have built there is like almost beyond state of the art in terms of CNC machines and what all you're doing.
Oh, yeah. basically we had a blank slate to create the perfect plant, and I think we've done that. It's beautiful. You got to come down and see it.
I would love to come down there and
Yeah,
see it. You know?
absolutely.
And then I'm going to twist your arm, as I do every time. Just we got to make a left-handed bolt action.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's going, oh, not that again, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And those of us who are right-handed but she's left-handed because we're left eye down, we would buy this gun. So I'm just putting in my pitch. Okay, there it is.
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so some people know Kimber for pistols and don't probably fully appreciate the rifle side, and others think, oh, it's a rifle company that also makes some pistols. How do you explain it to people?
Oh well, we like guns, so we make a lot of different types, and we've gotten into 2 new categories in the past 6 years or so.
Tell me,
so
what?
Revolvers and striker-fired polymer guns. So.
Oh yeah, well, of
Yeah.
course the revolver. I love that thing. That's
Oh, yeah.
I tell people it's built like a bank vault. It's just
Yep.
solid as it can be.
Oh yeah, and we got plenty more coming. So yeah, we make rifles, revolvers, 1911. We're known for 1911.
Right,
the
of course.
high quality premier.
And polymer pistols too.
Yeah, and we just won the Golden Bullseye Award with our R7 Mako, which I know you've seen and shot.
Yeah,
The
it's sweet.
we got reports from a recent article that the accuracy on that thing is twice as tight as our closest competitors.
Really
So yeah, anyway, we keep hearing great things about it.
amazing. So, tell me, what is Boot Campaign?
I have the fortunate pleasure to lead Boot Campaign, and we're a national nonprofit dedicated to honoring and restoring the lives of veterans and military families through individualized programs. And we are a fortunate partner of Kimber's. We have been since 2015. They have 3 weapons right now in their lineup that benefit our programs. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How's that work?
So we have 1911. It's called a Hero Edition. We have we just launched recently during a Black Friday event. We launched the Micro 9 Hero Edition. We have a 6.5 Creedmoor rifle, all with Cryptek patterns and Boot Campaign's logos on them.
Right.
Every one of those we sell, we donate a portion of the proceeds to the Boot Campaign.
Holy cow, that's
And
terrific.
So this year at SHOT, there's a lot going on here this year. A lot of different things going on, but we decided to leave most of our folks at home, and we donated our booth to the Boot Campaign.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there were a number of companies, and yours is one of them, where people either were nervous and worried about coming, and some companies actually had people starting to come down with COVID before they even came. They said,
Right.
okay, we just can't come.
Right.
So we have some booths that are available. So you don't actually have your people in the booth. You've donated that.
Right. And
Yep.
That's huge.
it's huge. It's an incredible opportunity for us to get to share our mission and message with like-minded patriots who want to do something to give back.
So how does your program work? What do you actually do?
Yeah, we have 3 main programs. First is encouraging Americans to show gratitude for those who raise their right hand and volunteer to protect and defend our freedoms. And we do that by encouraging folks to lace up a pair of combat boots, one of the most visible signs of military service, as an expression of gratitude. The second is our health and wellness program, and that's where we provide individualized treatment to invisible wounds of war. So folks struggling with brain injury, post-traumatic stress, chronic pain, self-medication, and insomnia. And we treat them based on what their body and their brain is telling us. So your journey through our program and Tom's journey through our program would be totally different.
Okay.
And then finally, we have at the holiday season an opportunity to make the holiday special for military families that are going through rough times. And so we provide them specially curated gift boxes at the Christmas season.
That's pretty neat. Now,
Yeah.
where are you located? Where's the
We're
headquarters?
based in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, okay. Good
Yep.
deal. Good deal.
Yep.
How'd you guys get together on this in the first place?
it was before me, so you're going to have to tell this one.
Yeah, we have fortunate people that have served the military community that love shooting weapons, and retired Marine Joey Jones is one of them, and he had a relationship with Kimber, and that initiated it a long time ago, and we've just grown it, and here we are today.
Yeah.
That is terrific.
Yeah.
You got some pretty cool boots over there, too.
Yeah.
Now, when you say pretty cool boots, what are we talking about?
Well, you got a bunch of different combat boots. So I have on some desert tan ones. We have some specially limited edition ones that are made just for us, and a portion of those proceeds come back to us
Okay,
as
so
well.
you're selling the boots.
We do. We sell the boots, and that funds our programs as well.
That is terrific. Well
Yeah.
done.
Thank you.
That's
I
excellent.
appreciate that.
People want to know more about that. Where do they go on the web?
Go to bootcampaign.org.
Bootcampaign.org. Even I can remember that one. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so Tom, as you're looking at your, same question that you always get every year. So what's new? I mean, it's like, okay, what are you going to be talking about?
Well, we're right now we're still trying to ramp up on the R7 Mako. We're selling every one that we can. We're selling every one we can make.
Right.
We're getting ready to come out with a 10-round mag and a 15-round mag for that, so that'll be well received.
And that's a really small gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's in that category, but once you start handling it, you go, oh, this is actually made by people who really know guns.
Yep. And so we'll have 3 major launches this year. One is a pretty big addition to an existing category. One is totally new, and actually 2 are totally new. And I wish I could tell you more, but we can check back.
Such mystery.
What good is that?
Check back with me.
You're not helping me at all here.
I'll take the mic off and tell you in a second.
Just between us,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So we're getting into grenade launchers.
Yeah. No grenade launchers.
I would venture a guess or two, but I'm liable to get pretty close, and that wouldn't be good if we're not supposed to be talking about it.
I think you're going to like the first one a lot, put it that way.
I like everything you guys do. Are you kidding me? I mean, seriously, when people say, you know, is it as good as a Kimber?
Yep.
I mean, how many times have I heard that, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You know, they got a 1911. Well, how does it rank against the Kimbers? Because you guys have, over the years, established yourselves as the standard against which pistols are measured right now.
Absolutely. You know, we're always trying to make them better too. We've got continuous improvement programs on everything. But you know, we just launched 2 new 1911s: the Rapide Scorpius and the Rapide Dawn, and they different finishes and nice lightning cuts, and people are going just nuts over them.
Exactly. You guys, hold on a second here. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're at the SHOT Show. And see, we're visiting with, 40,000 of our closest friends somewhere around here. No, you cannot call in because this is recorded, but that's okay because we're going to have more news about new guns when we come back.
Oh, it's like the.
Well, it's great when you cough, you know, or when I'm going to a break and you guys are kind of starting to relax and you clear your throats and all that. It's like, oh, these are great. So, and I don't know if you guys could hear the voice and coming back on the line. Yeah, Jim is actually sitting real time in Toledo, Ohio.
Okay.
And we're connected to him. He's recording this. No,
now I know why you fly planes, because it's easier than this.
this is easy compared to what we used to do. Boy, it used to be a real pain to do remotes. Now, if I have this box and actually, even if I don't have internet, with this, I can do it over a Verizon cell phone.
Oh.
Wow.
It's crazy. cool. We have a elevated stand, the whole deal. And, we have guests coming in regularly. We've got Tom Scott, we've got Shelley Kirkland, Boot Campaign, and Kimber. And, we just kind of shoot the breeze during the break here. This is one of the most fun places. I mean, it's a lot of work to get ready to come here for a company like Kimber, but when you come here, it's like old home week. You're just seeing all your friends.
Oh yeah, you can see all your friends. You can see all your business partners. You can see your suppliers. You can see everybody all on the same roof. It's wonderful.
Exactly, it's pretty sweet. And this year, frankly, we have fewer people attending, and it's easier to move about the halls and the aisles, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's kind of nice.
I like it. Better quality conversations for sure.
Somebody else said, instead of having like a 3-minute conversation and then you're moving on to the next person, you can actually have a conversation.
Yep.
Because you just don't have quite as many people. It's kind of hard to explain when you're trying to tell somebody at the SHOT Show. They say, yeah, I've been to a gun show. I say, yeah, no, not like this. You've never been to anything. Well, that's because there is nothing like this, right?
Yep.
So how many SHOT shows have you been to?
This is my 4th SHOT Show.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yep.
Well, you're an old hand at this.
I am. I've got my routine down. I know what to do, what to bring, what to pack.
You got
Change my shoes every day.
I was just going to say, you got your walking boots on. You look at me. I got my. I'm dressed up like a grown-up, except for my shoes. I got my regular hiking shoes on because you better have those.
Smart.
You do. You got to change them out, other's your feet ache.
Yes, you do. Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's like 6 or 8 miles of aisles, and of course it's concrete. So there's that too.
You guys count your steps every day?
No, I'm afraid to. So, but it's very cool. And we got So the interesting part is there are new guns. You mentioned you got you've got a couple of new 1911s out.
Yep, 2. It's called the Rapide Dawn and the Rapide Scorpius. We launched the Rapide Black Ice some time ago, about a year and a half ago, and it was overwhelmingly received, positively received. And we just launched 2 different versions of that. One's got the Dawn has a gold barrel, and the Scorpius has a black barrel, but they're both beautiful guns. Yeah. Sorry I didn't bring them. I know you.
No, that's okay. You know me. I love to handle the guns, so that's very cool. But I appreciate you guys bringing the message about what you're doing. Obviously, Kimber, great American company making guns in America.
Oh yeah.
And now in Troy, Alabama. How big is that place anyway?
Oh, it's about 225,000 square feet. Yeah. We have two indoor ranges, 1 outdoor range. Everything is set up so that it can go from engineering to prototype to it just flows perfectly.
You still hiring?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Need CNC operators. If you know anything about CNC machines, call us up. We need just about every function in the company. So.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh yeah.
You're just going that fast.
Yep, absolutely.
Has the supply chain issues hit you at all?
They have, but we work really closely with our suppliers to get out in front of them. But some things have been worse than others.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's what it is. You work your way around it. And you get it done. So there you go. That's good. So what's in the plans for you guys?
This year we are serving more veterans than we've ever served before. So we are looking forward to making a difference in more lives of military families, and we've got lots of events coming up, and we're looking forward to making those happen.
And if people want to know more about it, want to get involved, bootcampaign.org.
Bootcampaign.org, yes, and find us on social media. We actually have some things that are just digital opportunities, so you can go check it out.
Very cool. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing the information. Tom, it's always good to see you, man.
You too, Tom. Appreciate it.
Have a safe trip back. I got to get over and see this place in Alabama.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I'm going to take one of those CNC machines. I'm going to do the reprogramming. We're going to make a left-handed bolt action.
I hear you have CNC background, so come on, you can work for a while.
Yeah, I can spell CNC. That's as far as it goes for me. If I have a dictionary to look it up in.
Oh yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, this is so much fun. Hey, welcome back to Gun Talk. We're at the SHOT Show. Yes, I know. It's like weird. We recorded this, well, if you're hearing this right now, we recorded it a week and a half ago. But if you're watching us live right now on our video stream, we're doing it live, like right now. You'll actually be able to go back and hear this in a week and a half. It's some kind of weird time shifting thing. We're visiting with a lot of our friends who have very cool stuff. I mean, everywhere you look, at SHOT Show, it's cool stuff. Mike Barnum joins us right now from Galco Holsters. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. It's great that the show is back, and nice to see the industry back together again.
Yeah, because we didn't have one last year.
Nope. And I missed it. I did.
I did,
I
too.
love this event.
It is great. And it's one of those deals that when you're getting ready for it, you're going, oh, man, there's a lot of work to go and all. And you get here and you go, this is so cool.
There is so much cool stuff here. It's, all my friends who are shooters but don't work in the industry are jealous every year that I get to come to this.
They want to go.
Oh, man, what did you see? Well, why didn't you take more pictures? Why didn't you bring me some stuff?
And we were talking before we started. There are multiple levels here, but down in the bottom area where the smaller booths are, we call it the garage down there because it actually was a garage at one point.
Yep.
That's where you see some of the coolest stuff in these little bitty booths where there's like one guy and his wife and they've been making something in their garage.
Yep, absolutely. And, like you and I were talking about before we went on the air, that kind of innovation is really one of the things that can just drive the industry.
Well, that's how Galco got started.
Exactly. It was 53 years ago that the founder of Galco, Richard Gallagher, was a one-man shop, leather shop in Chicago, and came up with the Jackass shoulder system, and that just took off, and that was really the thing that put Jackass and then Galco on the map.
Well, and you have somebody come up to you and say, look, there's a guy down there in the garage, man, in the basement. You got to go see what this guy's up to. And you have no idea what it is, and you go down there and you go, well, who thought of that? That's cool. Whatever it is, right?
Yep, there is a lot of cool stuff. And but up here on the main floor, there's just tons of things to see, and it's
they got the big guys up here.
Yep.
And they're innovating as well.
Absolutely.
And it's the old deal. If you either innovate or you die.
Agreed.
And that's what you guys have been doing. You're known for being a leather holster maker.
Yep.
Except for the fact that now you're well into Kydex.
We are. Actually, we started with Kydex all the way back in 1994, which is
really?
Yeah. And that was really before the big Kydex thing hit in the 2000s. So we experimented with Kydex in the middle 90s up into the late 90s.
So you were too far ahead of the curve.
We were. We couldn't give the stuff away back then. Everybody wanted leather, and we were obviously ideally positioned to do leather. But when the Kydex thing came back in the 2000s, we're like, oh, okay, we already know how to do this.
We got this.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And so, we've gone back to that.
What you got there?
Well, we got some Kydex inside the waistband holsters, and, we're always trying to improve our products. This is our new Triton 3rd generation, 3.0. Kydex holster body. Like I said, we've got a lot of experience with that. We've got the sweat guard on it. But, this year we've changed the clip so that it's adjustable for ride height and angle.
Oh.
So you can kind of customize it to whether you like appendix, cross draw, strong
level.
side. Yeah, wherever you want to place it. And then we've added the stabilizing wing for the guys who like appendix carry.
You know what I like about it, though? I'm looking at it. It doesn't make it bulkier.
That's it, yeah. And this holster is great if you want something that doesn't take up a lot of real estate in your waistband, which some people prefer. We do have another option. This is our Paragon Kydex inside the waistband holster.
A little bit wider, a little bit bigger.
Right, and some people do like the additional stability that the double belt clips provide, and that's great too. We're happy to accommodate them. Again, this one is adjustable for ride height and angle, so you can wear it wherever you want. And again, we've got the stabilizing claw, the sweat guard, and the Kydex holster body. So people who think that associate us with gun leather, we're very happy to be associated. As we compete for the top 2% of domestically available leather.
Okay.
And that's what we use on our premium products. But Kydex is something, like I said, we've done for a couple of decades now.
How's the balance now in terms of people wanting Kydex versus leather?
Well, it breaks down a little bit by demographics.
Okay.
The guys who are just coming in or the women who are just coming into shooting do tend to gravitate a little bit more toward Kydex.
I knew you were going to talk about those old guys here. I knew that's where we were going.
Hey, those old guys have been our bread and butter for years and years. And, hey, I'm an old guy. I'm a grandfather. But it does break down a little bit.
Sure.
By demographics,
Yeah, I mean,
as you can imagine.
A lot of us who started with leather, we kind of like the whole leather thing.
And I do too.
And at the same time, I mean, I like my leather holsters, but the reality is for concealed carry, I pretty much gone to Kydex. It's just, they're thinner.
Yep.
It's just a little bit trimmer. I find that guns come out just a little bit slicker.
And there's the moisture resistance aspect to it as well.
No kidding.
And Kydex holsters are practically maintenance free, and I can understand why that attracts somebody.
Good point. Yeah.
And the downside, especially with the Kydex IWBs, that we find that people complain is the wrong word, but that bothers people a little bit, is having that hard plastic up against your body all the time.
Interesting.
And a lot of people find that uncomfortable, but we do have a solution for that.
Okay.
Tom.
Talk to me. He leads into his next product.
So this is what we call a MyCloud. And this product is a foam pad with a mesh backing that is moisture wicking and breathable that rides up against your body.
So and I'm going to describe this for people on the radio. You've got a foam pad that is roughly the size of your open hand.
Yep.
Okay.
It's about 6x4.
Okay, and that goes against your body so that you don't have any hard pressure points.
Correct.
But also, it's not a hard plastic. It's kind of soft, foamy, breathable.
It's what
material.
we call it comfort cloth.
Okay.
It's an adaptive performance mesh, Tom.
Oh, sure it is. Of course it is. Right.
But anyway, we provide you with these 1-inch circular pieces of hook fastener with an adhesive on the back.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I can't use the V word because 3M will send me a cease and desist.
Yes, I know, but it is a hook and ladder, or hook and something.
Hook and loop. So anyway, you get 5 of these with the MyCloud product, and don't put these on a leather holster, please. But on any plastic-bodied holster, you can adhere them to the body of the plastic, and then you can attach the pad, however you like, on the back of that Kydex IWB. And that makes it extremely comfortable.
That's cool.
Compared to the hard plastic.
And you can do that with pretty much any of your IWB holsters.
As long as it's plastic.
Right.
It can be, I don't care if it's injection molded, if it's Kydex, whatever. And it doesn't have to be a Galco product. If you've got somebody else's Kydex IWB and you're not comfortable with it.
And this is something you could put on your existing holsters that you're already using.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And all you need to do is put the hook and loop
right
on each holster that you like, and you can just move this pad from holster to holster as you wear it.
Sure. Is this washable? What do you do with this thing when you want to clean it up?
I wouldn't put it through the washing machine or anything.
Okay.
But
you rinse it out and air it out.
Exactly, and just let it air dry.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Cool deal.
And an inexpensive solution to enhancing your comfort. So
that's pretty neat. And I know you guys are working on, one that we weren't sure we were going to talk about. We got just a second here. You've got a chest rig.
We do. It's called.
Everybody wants to have their gun in bear country. And I've decided that for a lot of people, bear country is wherever they are. I don't care if they're on South Beach in Miami. It's like everybody wants to be protected against bears.
Absolutely.
So now we got a chest rig. So when you're wearing a backpack, how are you going to get and it has a waist belt on your backpack?
Right.
How
you're out of real estate.
Gun?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've made leather chest rigs for 12, 15 years, and we've been very successful with them. But this year we came out with one that sort of incorporates some of our inside the waistband technology, actually. So we've got a Kydex holster pocket on the outside, and then a backing plate that lays against your chest that's constructed of actually that same material that we used on the MyCloud.
Okay.
And we use it on a couple of our IWBs. But again, it's breathable, it's moisture wicking. So even if it's in the hot summer, you've got that thing pressed against you, but it's still breathable,
nice.
And it's just a lot more comfortable. It uses metal side release buckles. There's a C word for those that I'm not allowed to say.
We call them mongoose.
Yes,
right?
yes.
We came up with mongoose.
That's right. We talked about that yesterday. We're going to call those mongoose
People can
buckles.
figure out what that's all about.
Exactly. And then wide straps over the shoulder and around the torso. It's for autos only currently, but we're doing Glocks, 1911s, your usual suspects.
Sure.
For the holster pocket, and it's generated a lot of interest here at the show. So we're really happy with the response to that.
For what's your website when we want to go shopping?
GalcoHolsters.com.
Do you sell direct?
We do. We sell directly to. We have a dealer direct program. We sell directly to consumers, distributors, you name it.
And
if you got money, we'll take it.
The biggest deal, of course, is finding what is your gun. You start off with which gun, and then you work your way through what kind of carry and what are you going to be doing with it.
Correct. And on our website, we have a search by gun feature, so you can break it down to the very specific model, and then it will display all the holsters we make for that gun model, and then you can narrow it if you want an IWB, a chest holster, a shoulder holster. You can just narrow it that way.
Galco,
so it's super easy.
The holster people.
That's us.
That's you guys.
That's us.
Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate
My
you being
pleasure,
here.
Tom. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some gun right stuff right here on Gun Talk from the floor of the SHOT Show. So I'm getting beat up here by Clark Aposhan's wife. She's working me over pretty hard here. Clark, how you doing, man?
Hey, I am I am well. I am well. My feet are a little sore, but I am still well. Doing great.
All right, so to be fair, we should just tell people your lovely wife was saying, all right, in this opening you guys do, it says, this question says, well, is it more women are buying guns? Is that smart? And I said, well, yeah, well, the obvious answer is, of course it's smart. She says, well, it doesn't sound that way. So, okay, maybe we got to fix that.
So, well, no, but it for Casey Jane, she's my KJ. You have a KJ, I have a KJ. And we boom Gun Talk through the house on Sundays. It's through the whole house. So no matter where I go, I can hear it.
Okay.
And every do that, and I crank it up even louder when that comes on.
Just to drive her crazy?
Just to drive her what? Because Casey Jane, she's a shooter. She shoots my machine gun. She shoots. Well, we just got a suppressor, and she says, "Oh, I just got a new suppressor." So anyway.
So your guns are her guns?
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing she said when we got married. So yeah.
All right, back it up. We got Clark Aposhan here. You've heard him on the show before many times. He's a firearms trainer. You're an activist. You are a lobbyist. You work on gun rights stuff. You host a radio show about guns. You kind of do it all.
Everything to do with guns, yeah.
Yeah.
So we
How'd you get started doing all this?
I grew up in a house that had 3 guns, and they were all rifles: a 22,
really,
a 32 Winchester Special, and a 308, and they were all kept downstairs in the basement in a little cedar chest. And so I don't know. I found something I like to do that doesn't seem like work.
Right.
I like to shoot guns. I like to collect guns. I like to lobby for gun rights.
Tell me about the Utah Shooting Sports Council.
Utah Shooting Sports Council is Utah's gun lobby, and we work closely with the national gun rights groups. As Second Amendment Foundation is probably our favorite.
Right.
I'm just being. We work with the NRA as well.
Sure.
The NRA ILA comes in, and they do some great work there. But we submit the good bills and we fight the bad bills, and we do that every year.
And there are people who are thinking, but it's Utah. You can't be having any bad bills introduced there.
Oh, we do. We have a background check bill this year coming up, and we've had it before. We've had magazine ban restrictions.
And it really doesn't matter where you are. I don't care how red the place is you are. There are always those that are doing that. And what a lot of people may not know, and you know the inside of this, is there are legislators that the gun ban lobby, they're in every legislature, and they're going to these individual legislators and they're handing them the bills that are already written, the gun control bills, and saying, introduce this. And these people will introduce it year after year after year. And if you don't beat it back every year, it will grow. And other people, after a while, and this is the plan, is they want to have other legislators think, well, we've been hearing about that for years. Maybe it's time to go ahead and do this. And that's how they beat you down.
That you hit it right on the head. That's exactly what it is every year. And they bring them. I don't have a checkbook for Utah Shooting Sports Council. I do not write checks. We do not give money. We don't give lunches. We don't give everything. If they don't like our ideas for legislation, free of charge,
right.
Then fine, don't vote for it. Don't carry the bill.
Right.
And it's got to stand on its own without me writing you a check for your campaign or something like that.
Right.
But we do have a huge following, and that means a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, a lot of votes, and the legislators know this. So, but it's not about money. But the other side brings a lot of money, and we're a small state. We have 3.5 million people in the whole state,
and they have Bloomberg money,
and that can go a long way in a tiny little state like Utah.
That's the whole deal. And people say, well, just let him spend $1 million. You don't understand. In a state like Utah, you could spread $1 million out with legislators and help them with their ad campaigns, whatever, and that may dwarf anything that's ever happened before. And to Bloomberg, that's probably about 60 seconds of income. I mean, and I'm serious about that. That's probably, it may be less than 60 seconds of income, $1 million for Michael Bloomberg, because he's worth, $60 billion, something like that now. It's incredible. So how do you fight that?
Well, we educate. As a lobbyist, I think it's our job to educate and inform. We know the ramifications of certain legislation. We know that, and we built up good ethical trust relationship with legislators, and we continue to do that.
Right.
And so when a bill comes up, they'll give us a call. They'll give us a call if they get if they say, hey, this has come up. What do you think of this? And it is our job to educate.
Inherent in that, and this is one of the things that people need to understand if they're going to start doing lobbying, is you can never lie. They have to be able to count on you to tell them the truth. So if they say, what do you think about this? And you say, I think it's a bad bill because of this. Or you can say, that's not the worst bill we've ever seen, honestly. There may be a way we can work with that. But if they come to depend upon you to always give them the real skinny on stuff, they will, in fact, call you and ask.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about this?
And that's exactly right. In fact, oddly enough, we see a lot of these lobbyists come in for a year or two.
Yes.
The anti-gun lobbyists will come in for a year or two, and they will flat out, pants on fire, lie to the legislators.
You think?
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
And
say ridiculous
but
things.
we write into our lobbyists. If you're going to be a lobbyist and you lie to a legislator, or you give, that's a criminal offense in Utah as a lobbyist. To do that.
Literally?
Literally, it's a criminal offense.
For a lobbyist to lie?
That is correct.
Boy, I kind of like that.
Yeah. You cannot give false information to there's a whole bunch of, you have to go through ethics classes and stuff like this.
So it's not just like, okay, I'm going to be a lobbyist now and blow right in.
Yeah.
Because you had to go through all that. You had to do all that.
Yeah. I have to retake the ethics test and
you have to be a registered lobbyist?
You don't, well, the thing is, I don't have to be a registered lobbyist because I don't give any money out.
Oh,
if
interesting.
If you're giving money out, you have to be able to.
Okay.
But we don't give any money out. But
Right.
my board said, because of these ethical standards, we want you to register as a lobbyist so that you still have to abide by these same ethical standards.
Oh, I'll be darned.
And that's what we want the Utah Shooting Sports Council to.
Not that you would have needed that piece of paper to do that. That's what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah, but that's fine. And I have to do reporting of any money I give, which is zero. It's always zero.
We talk all the time about the value, the importance, if you will, of state organizations. And I always say, look, the national organizations are really important, but an awful lot of the assaults that are happening right now are on the state level. You know, you might just kind of discuss how that happens, what the mechanism is of the gun ban lobby work in the states.
Well, I tell people, you know, if you're going to get into politics, you're going to work the problem, work your city, work your county, work your state, and then move on. You've got to make things right in your state. And if there's a problem in your state, you need to fix it before you move on to the national. And so, quite honestly, I mean, I don't really get involved in the national stuff other than maybe a bump stock thing here or there.
Right.
But,
other than that,
yeah.
You mean the Apotion case?
Apotion v. Garland, yeah.
Yeah. Are you headed toward the Supreme Court?
It is in the Supreme Court's venue right now.
Your
and
case.
It's on a schedule. They've scheduled a conference for it. The United States Supreme Court has scheduled a conference.
Okay, for those who don't know, when they schedule a conference, it means they are now discussing whether or not they're going to take it, which is most cases never get to the conference level. I mean, like 98% of them don't even go that far. They've blown out. They deny cert right off the bat.
Yeah.
Give
so
us
my attorneys with the New Civil Liberties Alliance out of D.C., fantastic guys at the NCLA, have been working this right through 10th Circuit.
Explain what the case is.
So what the case is, it's about bump stocks, but it's
Right.
not about bump stocks. Quite honestly, Tom, I probably shouldn't say this, my attorney said, but I didn't really care that much about bump stocks.
Right.
Okay.
But it was what they did, the way they did it.
But yeah, it's the way they did it. If you want to ban something, then Congress needs to do it. There's a metric to do something, to pass a law. You don't just ask a state agent or a federal agency like the ATF to just ban it. You can't do that.
Well, they keep saying, well, you know, they got the Chevron defense. They got the blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's
I'm
right.
so
And
glad
we're
that you're
arguing-
challenging
and
that.
we're arguing it based on the Chevron doctrine and
Yep.
the rule of lenity, which I'm learning so much stuff. But anyways, yeah, you can find out about it on Potion v. Garland. Go to ncla.org, New Civil Liberties Alliance. But yeah, your state organizations really need the help.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna keep you around.
Okay.
You don't get to
Okay.
leave.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Talking with
Hanging
Clark
right
Potion here. We're at the SHOT Show. We're in Las Vegas, obviously. If you're hearing this via radio, this is a time-shifting show because we recorded it about a week or so ago. We'll be right back with more gun talk. welcome. It's Gun Talk. We're at the SHOT Show in Vegas. Actually, it's very weird. We're live streaming this thing right now while we're doing it. If you're hearing it on the radio or podcast, you're hearing it a week or so later. But glad to have everybody here. Our good buddy Skip Jokel's watching. We appreciate him being here. We're visiting with Clark Aposhian. Clark, before we move into it, I want to talk just a smidge about training and who's getting training. But your lawsuit about bump stocks, and I've had people say the same thing. I don't really care that much about bump stocks, and you made the point. It's really not so much about bump stocks. Then what's it really about?
Yeah, bump stocks is a vehicle for us to bring overreach of the government to the forefront and get it addressed by the United States Supreme Court.
Because if they can do this, if they could just say, we unilaterally, as an agency, have the power to regulate bump stocks, even though Congress never gave us that, then why could they not do that with magazines or anything else?
Exactly. What's their wish list? What's the liberals' wish list to get rid of? Well, bump stocks was just, again, a vehicle for which to try out the ATF's power to regulate. Okay. Well, we hold that they did not have that power to do this in this case, and it was very obvious if you read our briefs in Aposhian v. Garland. But if they can do that, if they can do it with something as innocuous as a bump stock, because quite honestly,
it's a piece of plastic.
Yeah, then how hard would it be to change binary to to say binary triggers, to say magazines. I mean, you name anything.
No law need be passed. They can just arbitrarily make a regulation, and it has the force of law.
Exactly. And so we cannot let this stand. We won't let this stand, and that is why I teamed up with the New Civil Liberties Alliance. They're kind of like the ACLU, only they understand the Second Amendment.
They actually know all 10 of the amendments in the Bill of Rights. There you go. All right, you were telling me the quick story about how you met your wife.
I met my wife in 2012, December 27th of 2012, at a concealed carry class that we held at a great big huge arena called the Maverick Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, West Valley, Utah. And because it was right after Sandy Hook, and we offered a free class to all school employees, regardless of what they do, a free concealed carry class, because at that time, and even before that, for many years before, and now, you can carry a firearm. You don't have to ask permission if you have a permit, and you can carry in schools, any school employee. In Utah. And so I met my wife. I actually have a picture the AP took of myself and her in the crowd before we'd even met.
Wow.
So it was kind of interesting. And
she was not a gun person.
She was not a gun person. In fact, her mom was not a gun person. Thank you, Fran. But suggested that she go to this class because people had an epiphany. They had an understanding that they are sitting ducks, and they're going to be that they were going to be nothing more than a bullet sponge. I'm sorry to be so graphic, but that's
the
what
reality
it is.
It's they call it the stopwatch of death. Basically, in an active shooter situation, somebody's going to get shot, maybe going to get killed every 10 to 15 seconds. And the only question is, how long do you want to wait until somebody shows up with a gun? Because the first person who shows up with a gun, the mass shooting stops.
There you go.
That's how you shut it down. Because the bad guy either gives up, shoots himself, or runs away, but generally doesn't engage into a gunfight. They just don't do that.
Yeah, and so we've had the ability, the absolute legal ability for 30 years or so in Utah to be able to do this. We've had no problems.
Right.
We've had certainly no pattern of problems, and so, but we do encourage. Now we have common sense. We like to call it common sense carry in Utah, but
like
constitutional carry.
I like that.
So in fact, it's even on our low shirt here. And we still encourage people though to get the training.
Yes.
And I love what you say, Tom. That your concealed carry class is not training. It satisfies for most of the time.
It's an introduction.
It's an introduction. There you go. And we encourage people to get training and train up to the level they want to engage. So there's a lot of school teachers out there that do not want to roam the hallways in the event of an active shooter and start taking the guy out.
Right.
They want to be able to effectively know how to clear malfunctions, effectively engage, and if somebody were to come into their room.
And you don't have to be a big-time gunfighter to stop one of these mass shootings. I mean, these active shooter situations, like I say, when the first good guy shows up with a gun, it's usually over at that point.
It's exactly right.
There it is.
They either kill themselves or they get killed by.
There you go.
Yeah.
if people want to know more about what you're up to, where do they find you?
Go to UtahShootingSportsCouncil.org. It's the longest website ever, but UtahShootingSportsCouncil.org. They can sign up for alerts. It's free, and I'll tell you how safe that email list is. As the chairman, I don't even have access to the email list.
I wouldn't trust you either,
Yeah,
so
no,
there's
of
that.
course not. You don't get spammed. You only get the alerts, and you can find out what's going on in Utah. And or go to ncla.org and get updates on Potion v. Garland.
Thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
I appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, Tom. You know, you're the guy. You're the person we look up to, and you're the reason we don't have to apologize for owning guns and liking guns.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. All right, don't go far. We'll be right back, right here at the SHOT Show. And we are back. We're at the SHOT Show. Welcome back to Gun Talk. Yes, indeed, Gun Talk. If you want to see some of the other things we do, we produce videos. We have a lot of content. GunTalk.com. You can find us on YouTube. Oh my gosh, Roku, Amazon Fire. Basically, anywhere you get video, you can find us. We're actually live streaming the show right now. But if you're listening to the radio show, it means we recorded it at the SHOT Show. You're going to see it later. It's this weird deal. All of that to say, if you're hearing this on the radio, don't try to call in because we're not there. This is all recorded. Very cool. All right. One of the things we do is we like to pull in people who are like doing different things, maybe shaking it up, because sometimes you know a company, but you don't know a company. So, all right, guys, Aero Precision, Jeff, John, tell me what you guys have been doing.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy, like you said, shaking it up, right? So,
I mean, everybody thinks they know what Aero Precision is, except that you said, well, not anymore. We're something else,
Yeah.
actually, or additional.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Yeah. So everybody knows us as an AR manufacturing company. That's what we've been doing for a lot of years, and we do it really well. This year, we're bringing something new to the table. Actually, several things new to the table. So one of the pieces here, we have our bolt action. We also have a chassis system, and then we also have our suppressors that we're debuting right now.
So are you making these yourself?
Everything is done in-house, yes.
Really? And
Yeah.
where do you make this?
Out of Tacoma, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is your bolt action. Show it to me. Let's take a look. What do you got?
Yeah, so we got a Remington 700 footprint. The barrel interface is going to be a Savage small shank. We developed this essentially for our customers to be able to utilize the full suite of what is in the industry right now.
Okay.
Our core customer are builders, or tinkerers, and as we progress into some of these new products, we really wanted to stay true to them. So this is, a garage builder's dream. You can get yourself into different calibers, different barrel profiles, things like that, with a vise and
You have different bolt faces.
Yeah. So it's a 3-lug, 60-degree.
Okay.
Swappable bolt faces, so we have standard, there'll be medium, and then
wow.
magnum, right?
Yeah.
It is a short action, like I said, but the ejection port is more of what people would think of as like a medium action.
Okay.
And we did that because some of us at the company like short action magnums. This guy, and selfishly.
So which one? What are you shooting?
I like 7 Psalms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is how geeky I am. I just ordered a 284 Winchester.
Okay.
You know,
big dog.
So you got short case, but you want to be able to seat it out. So I need a little bit longer cartridge overall length. So I'm playing with that. So yes, where we are.
Standard features. We got the integral recoil lug, integral 20 MOA rail. We got overpressure vents here as well. And it accepts most Remington 700 triggers. We like to say most because Jeff and I have not tested every single trigger.
So you never know, right?
But all the ones we have tested, they're going to be compatible.
Hedge your bets. That's a good idea. Most.
Under promise, over deliver. That's what we like to do.
Yeah, I'm just thinking one of the things that's happened is that, and you guys from the AR world been making ARs, and people buy your lowers, they build guns, and that's been a real big deal. People building their ARs. Over the last few years, just not really a lot, but a few years, I've seen this change, and now people are really into building their bolt guns from scratch. And that was, even as much as 5 years ago, you didn't see a lot of that, did you?
Yeah, I mean, if you start looking at the precision rifle competitor, right, like that archetype has really grown from sort of like this fringe niche to now you got all of these different companies making production class rifles, and the barrier for entry is getting lower. And really one of the goals with this product was to give you, the customer, as close to a custom rifle, custom action, at an affordable price that you can get.
Right.
Because there's so many guys that are just, they get annoyed when they shoot a barrel out. They got to send it off to a gunsmith. So we wanted to just give them that power and get them back in the field as fast as they could.
Well, and it's funny because, I come from the old world where people would say, well, my barrel, you're going to shoot out your barrel. I go, yeah, barrels are like tires. They're consumables.
Commodity, right?
Yeah, you're going to replace it. And what you're talking about here is now people are able to replace their own barrels.
Yep.
It used to be it was strictly a gunsmith deal.
Yeah, exactly. And now there's everyone, Krieger, Bartlein, my favorite barrel manufacturer, Proof. They're making Savage small shanks, in carbon fiber and steel, and you'll be able to utilize those.
What's this going to go for?
So right now we haven't entered a design lock yet, so we haven't optimized our tool path or our actual consumables, toolings, cutters, right?
Okay.
Until we get to that point, we're not willing to invest in that
$79, dude. I'm
I know, right?
$79.
I
right?
knew.
Just like your lowers,
Four
right?
easy
just
payments
just
of $49.99.
Yeah, just like a strip lower. No,
Call now.
I don't think so.
To be completely honest, what we're saying right now to everybody is the action itself will be sub $1,000, and when we say sub $1,000, we're not saying it's going to be $995, right? What we're saying is we're shooting to be aggressively under that, but we don't know what that answer is just yet.
Right. And that that puts you in the ballpark of anybody who's building these understands, where that puts you and who you're up against at that level.
Yeah, sure.
So when somebody says, why should I buy this as opposed to a Defiance or somebody,
Sure.
anybody else? Why?
And I think the answer to that comes down to, the value to the end user, which is what Aero Precision has always been known for, right? One of the things that we do differently than a lot of people is we look at ourselves as a manufacturing and technology company that happens to make guns, not a gun company that knows how to manufacture something.
That's interesting.
And so when I say that, the approach to how we do things is very different than other people, right? So when you say Defiance or Bighorn or any of those other companies,
right,
they're making fantastic actions. I will not stand here and say that they're not quality. But some of the processes that they utilize are very slow, which leads to some of the lead time issues that you see in the industry.
And you guys know how to make stuff good.
We go fast. We go fast.
And you go fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you crank out a lot of guns.
I mean, we're doing 100,000 receivers a month. So
what?
Yeah. And so when you say some of this stuff, right, now you're looking at the opportunity for a manufacturer to get in to provide the same quality because we're investing in technologies that can match the tolerances within tenths of EDM, but we can do it in a way that we're manufacturing aggressively, quickly, and providing the same quality and the same features, but we're lowering the price of entry.
I was just going to say, that helps you hold the price down.
Not just providing, but combining.
Yeah.
I mean, this action essentially is my hunting rifle and my competitive rifle smashed into one.
Why
action.
wouldn't it be? Yeah, exactly. This is not what you'd call like a super lightweight action, right?
No, and it's not. It wasn't built with that
It's
customer.
not designed for that.
Yeah.
Right, I get that. But could that be something that you look at as we go down the line?
Yeah, absolutely. The goal is to grow the product line. We're not going to stop with this action, right? So you look at the feature sets, obviously those add cost. So as a volume manufacturer, which we are, the opportunity in the future is to relieve some of those features that allow us to lower the price point, but also focus on providing some of those other features that we didn't focus on here. So for instance, let's just say for removing the top rail, you're removing significant ounces out of this. It's a 416 stainless action, so it's going to add a bunch of
basically
weight.
this is designed for a particular market.
Sure.
You know, and then as you go along, you design it for another market. You may have the backcountry sheep hunters. You may have the whatever. it
Trust
is.
me, we're thinking about them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Backcountry hunting is something for me that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And you know, I haven't talked to Scott and Jeff about this, but I'm slowly trying to turn the company into a hunting company so I can get paid to go on trips again.
I love that.
No, we're definitely looking into different materials than we're known for. Obviously, hard metals is not. We're an aluminum company mostly. Not that we don't have that capability,
right?
But we're breaking into harder metals, exotic metals with our suppressors. Exotic metals, I mean, they're known in the space, but it's considered exotic when you talk about it from a manufacturing standpoint. And then, composites as well. So,
okay.
We're targeting a lot of different things that we're not known for.
Okay. Tell you what, hold on to that thought. When we come back, you mentioned the suppressors. We didn't really talk about them. I got a quick break here. We'll come back. We'll kind of hit that a lick and a half, and then we'll go from there. We'll talk with the folks from Aero Precision. Thank you, guys. Don't go anywhere. We're at the SHOT Show. I'm going to say we're live. We're kind of live. We're live on the video stream, but then we're also recording this for broadcast on radio, and it's available as a podcast, and it's available anywhere in the known and the unknown universe. We'll be right back with more gun talk. All right, we're back with you. Tom Gresham, it's Gun Talk. We're at the SHOT Show. We're visiting with the folks from Aero Precision. Let me just open your mics, guys, because I mentioned, we'll get to the suppressors in just a second, but you got this huge gun back here. You got a chassis gun. Where did this come from?
The chassis system, getting into the bolt space is a natural progression for us, right? We wanted to provide a solution for everything. And what better thing to do besides make an action and then build something to put in it? So, and we're known for our aluminum. It's all aluminum construction. So
you guys have mastered aluminum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I can let John go through the feature sets on the chassis here.
Sure.
Well, we can double team it, but
sure, whatever.
My favorite part of this thing is really the rear of the rifle. When I was teaching guys in the Army and then as a civilian, one of the hardest things for them was to establish a good rifle body connection.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to make sure that was as streamlined as possible. So toolless adjustments, they're spring loaded, so you can just get on it, push and use gravity and set it and forget it.
It basically molds to you then.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. How important, just talk for a second about the importance of having that fit and what that does for you in terms of your accuracy.
Yeah, it's all about a natural point of aim, right?
Right.
And the better you can fit your body to the rifle, the more easily and consistent you can improve or achieve a natural point of aim.
Which gets you back on target for repeat shots.
Yep.
And, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, we say consistency equals accuracy, right? And
right.
We wanted to make adjustments that were consistently accurate.
What's the availability on this? When's it going to be out?
We're looking hopefully into Q3, Q4.
Okay.
We got a lot of things going on, moving into a new facility. We're moving over 100 machines into our new shop.
That's just a weekend deal. Big deal,
exactly, right? So machines started moving. So if everything goes well, that's where we're looking at. But with anything with manufacturing, it can hit a snag. So
what's the website for them to look at?
You'll see it on any of our social channels, but aeroprecisionusa.com, when they go live, you'll see it there.
Okay, sounds good. All right, tell me quick about this suppressor.
Yeah, suppressor. So right here we have a full laser welded K baffle style suppressor with our proprietary QD mount. We call it the mantle. The suppressor is the Lahar 30. So we have a 17.4 Inconel construction, again, fully laser welded, replaceable end caps. We'll have our own mount as well. The back is threaded for 1 3/8 inches. So if you're heavily invested in chemo or silencer co-ASRs, you can just screw that right into the back and use our can. That way you can pop our can on any of your rifles and you don't have to invest in a new mount system.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you can't tell, we got a theme going on with all these products, right? And it's utilizing the technology that's already available and not locking our customers into things that are proprietary.
Yeah, no, exactly. When's this available?
We're looking at about Q2. If
so
everything goes
not
right
too
with
long
the
then.
No.
Well,
we're really close to the finish line on the suppressor.
That is so cool. And the interest in suppressors is incredible how it's grown. It's almost like a lot of people now, when they buy a gun, they're going to get a suppressor, or they just assume that I'm going to put a can on it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, honestly, we couldn't have picked a better timeline with the e-file supposedly coming back online.
That's right.
We'll see how it goes, but you get a good performing 30 cal can at a good price point, and then we'll be really excited for that.
They're going to get that worked out. They've had a couple of software bugs that they've glitching on the e-forms and all that, but I think it's going to work out. It's going to be terrific.
Yeah.
Well, just well done. You guys are just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
Hey, just a couple more things on that chassis.
Okay, I got 30 seconds.
It is a full ARCA bottom. It does have a spigot mount, inline NVG, and the spigot will be Picatinny and reversible ARCA. It's more than just spring-loaded adjustments.
Is he speaking English?
Oh, for the guys that know what he's talking about, yeah, he is.
I'm whispering sweet nothings in their ear.
They're going, oh, man, that's so cool. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. The website again?
AeroPrecisionUSA.com.
Terrific. Well done. You guys are busy. Keep us posted, would you?
Appreciate it.
All right, a good deal. All right, don't go far. We'll be coming back here. We're at the SHOT Show 2022. We're in Vegas. If you're watching live, welcome. Glad that you're with us. If you're listening to it on the radio or on the podcast, I'm glad that you're here, too. Don't try to call in because we were there like a week and a half ago. I'm Tom Gresham. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk. 3, Gun Talk from the SHOT Show. The 4 of the SHOT Show. We're at the Gun Talk booth, actually hanging out, and thank you for Beretta. Beretta ended up not being able to come to the SHOT Show. They'd already purchased their exhibit space here, and they let the media folks use it. They call it the Media Zone, so thank you for them letting us hang out here. We're live streaming. If you're watching live stream, cool. If you're listening to this on the radio podcast, okay, you can actually go back and watch us do that if you want to, but I always say it's kind of like watching a couple of people just talk to themselves. But hey, there we are. By the way, it's Gun Talk. Glad that you could be with us. If you want to know more about what we do, check it out, guntalk.com. We have videos, thousands and thousands of videos. Yeah, so we're on the floor of the SHOT Show, and we're looking and seeing what's new, what's going on here. First time that Psionics has joined us. Gio Lapare is with us. Gio, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure being here, Tom.
Okay, so first of all, you got to tell people, what is Psionics, right?
Psionics is a digital colored night vision company based out of Beverly, Massachusetts.
Okay.
We have proprietary CMOS technology that allows us to see a wide band, much like night vision. And we're able to see deep into the night.
So how's it different from regular night vision?
Well, it's a full digital sensor, and much like we're able to see very much like your regular camera, but we can see well down into moonless starlight.
Okay.
So instead of the green I-square tube, we have full color capability.
Because we're all used to seeing what we think of as night vision, just green images, running around.
Yep.
They're blurry. They're not very good.
Correct.
Right? So what do we see when we look through Psionics?
You will see a full color image, much like what you will see out of your cell phone camera.
Really?
But we can see it well into the dark.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So what do you got there? I mean, you got this helmet rig in front of us. What do we have?
Yeah, so we're launching a brand new product this year at SHOT Show. It's called Opsin, and is a purpose-built night vision tactical monocular helmet-mounted system.
Okay.
And it consists of a monocular up in the front and a battery pack in the back. We separated the monocular and the battery to lighten up the load in the front and balance the helmet in the back.
Okay, yeah, otherwise it's tilting forward on your
head. Or you have to put a counterweight in the back, and the whole system just gets heavy.
Okay.
We're able to put a nice big pack in the back and give you up to 8 hours of continuous work. The product in the front is a nice compact monocular.
Mm-hmm.
It has a 40-degree field of view in the front, so it gives you great situational awareness. We have a high-definition AMOLED display in the back with a 25-millimeter eye relief eyepiece.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very immersive experience. You're not looking at the product, you're looking through the product.
Okay, yeah.
It has all of the features and capability that you would expect in a digital camera. So onboard recording onto an SD card up to 256 gigs, both video and images.
Right.
We have built-in GPS and compass, so we can give you your position and pointing angle for navigation.
Right.
Built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so we can stream out to a mobile application. And sensitivity down to less than 1 millilux, which is moonless starlight.
Who's going to use this? What's this for?
We've developed it, designed and developed it specifically for law enforcement, professional market, MOD, DOD, but it will be available to regular folks.
Too. Yep. Okay. So what would, and I'm looking at this thinking, okay, how am I going to use this either? Of course, first question I'm going to ask is, could you take this off the helmet and do handheld?
You could, but because it's not a built-in battery, you have to hold on to the battery pack, so it's designed as a system to be on the helmet.
Okay, good deal.
But the law enforcement and professional market would use it for navigation at night, right?
Yeah,
be
I
covert.
can see a lot of uses there.
But also in the consumer market, hunting at night for hogs or other, you can use it for navigation.
So, okay, and I'm just trying to look at it and figure out, you wouldn't use this for actually shooting through, right? All right, so this would be to moving around, looking and all of that.
Yeah.
But then when you got on target, you'd probably use a thermal optic or something on your rifle.
Yeah, just like you would do now with a regular night vision monocular. Flip it up and then get on your scope.
Right, okay. So give me an idea cost on this, because it sounds like this is really high-tech.
It is high-tech, but we're bringing it up to the market at $2,495, and it's the full system.
I thought you were going to say 12 grand. I
No.
swear I thought you were looking at 10 to 12 grand.
No.
Holy cow.
Part of Psionics' mission is to innovate night vision and provide it to the masses.
How do you do, I mean, seriously, 5 years ago, that would have been 10 or 12, 15 grand, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's top secret.
I can tell you, but then I got to kill you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We have an unbelievable design team that knows how to get this technology out to the market.
Right.
So
What kind of battery?
it's a battery pack that has 4 18650 batteries in it. It's a rechargeable pack. It's proprietary to us, but we'll provide you the pack, the cables, the bridge mount that you can connect to a dovetail like a Wilcox G24 or a Rhino mount. Everything you need except the helmet and your actual helmet mount.
So you
will be there.
you provide the helmet and the mount, and then
No, the helmet would be the user. Yes.
yeah, I know the user provides
Yep.
the helmet. Yeah, okay,
Yep.
you're right. You guys, do you offer a helmet, or they just have to buy it somewhere else?
No, you would buy it from some of the helmet
Okay,
manufacturers.
yeah, because there's a lot of them. Out
We
there.
focus on stuff that we know what to do, how to do.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what we know how to do. We don't know how to do the other thing.
Yeah,
Let
we'll
somebody else do that.
Yep.
Very good. So how long has Psionics been around?
15 years or so.
Okay. So it's not your first rodeo then.
No, we've been focusing mostly on the sensor side of things, and the past 3 to 4 years we've been introducing finished goods to the
Okay,
market.
Right.
This is our first tactical purpose-built product.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And what do we call this?
This is called the Opsin.
The Opsin. All right.
Yeah.
If people want to know more about it, where do they go?
You can go to psionics.com and it'll be on our website.
It's SIONYX.
X,
All
yep.
right. SIONYX.
Yes.
Psionics.com.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for bringing that over and letting us take a look at it. Now, this looks really interesting. What is this?
So this is our other new product that we're introducing here at SHOT Show. It's called Nightwave, and this is a maritime navigation camera. So it's a small dome camera designed for the maritime business.
Right.
You can put it on your vessel, and it gives you the same capability that I was talking about in Opsin. So moonless starlight, less than 1 millilux, 44-degree field of view. It's a 12-volt powered system with an analog out, so you can plug it into your navigation system on your boat.
Anybody who's got any size boat at all could use this for nighttime navigation.
Yes.
And and if you don't have a boat, you may not understand. But if you do, and you're out at night and trying to work your way back into the harbor, just seeing stuff. It's, I mean, it's, as we like to say, it's dark out there. It's just hard to see.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And this will, increase safety out there by showing you all the channel markers, but it also expands your working period, right? You can actually get out a little earlier in the morning and get to the fishing grounds earlier and come back a little later.
Makes sense.
Staying safe.
What's that selling for?
This is going to be $1,495.
That's actually nothing. You got a decent sized boat, that's nothing to be able to use that, plug that in. Now, what's the display on this?
This is going to, it has two options. You can output a analog out to your MFDs, your multifunctional displays on your boat, or we actually have built-in Wi-Fi, and you can stream it to a mobile device.
Oh, sure. Okay,
so if you have a smaller boat that doesn't have a helm,
you got an iPad or a phone or whatever you want to do.
You're good to go.
Okay, sounds good. Will do. All right, I appreciate that. Again, psionics.com. Very good.
Thank you very much, Tom.
All righty, very good. We'll be right back with more news right here at the SHOT Show. throw him out of the chair, throw the next guy in. Joel Hodgson joins us right now from Remington Ammunition. You barely had time to put your rear end in the seat. Here we go.
Man, they said go on up and start talking. So here I am, and I'm going to start talking.
Exactly. There you go. Well, I'm glad that you're here. You're
Thanks, Tom.
for people. We understand this, but people may not understand that Remington Guns and Remington Ammo are now separate. They're different companies, right?
Yes, sir.
You might explain that a little bit.
Of course. So about a year ago and some change, the old Remington company broke up, and so the folks at Remington Ammunition, including myself, came in and took control of the plant in Lone Oak, Arkansas, and so we moved in, and we're making ammo. We're back at it every single day, working really hard to get
I heard
millions
that you
around
guys
up there.
are like making ammo, but you're keeping it back there so that we can't have it.
That's right. That's right. It's a big conspiracy theory. And
I
I forgot my tinfoil hat. It's around here.
I always
somewhere,
ask people, I said, so explain to me the economics that works here of a company making a product and not selling it.
I mean, you know what? Our new parent company, Vista Outdoor, we're a publicly traded company, right? I mean, I encourage y'all to check out our quarterly reports. We tell Wall Street everything that's going on.
Yeah, and Vista, for the people who don't know, you might just run through some of the brands with Vista.
Of course. Definitely brands that you've heard about, shot with, hunted with. So Bushnell, Federal Premium Ammunition, CCI, and Spear Ammo. Oh, my gosh.
RCBS.
RCBS, a great reloading brand. Some newer ones, Quiet Cat. We just bought Stone Glacier. So some high-end hunting backpacks and gear as of a few weeks ago.
Right,
so,
that's new.
Camp Chef Grills. I mean,
it's a big company.
It's a huge company.
And
yes,
it's, as you say, publicly traded, so you can't really hide anything. And since you have stockholders, they don't really like it if you say, we're going to make ammo, but, we're not going to sell it.
That's right. That's right.
That's going to be kind of stupid.
I like getting a paycheck. We're going to keep making ammo, and we're shipping it every single day. So.
All right, and not only that, I'm just going to say this, previous owners of Remington, not the sharpest knives in the drawer. That's just, you can't say that. I can say that. Okay, fair enough. You guys are really doing some innovative stuff.
Thank you.
Our old-fashioned, well-respected, always works, still works, Core-Lock bullets in our rifle ammo, and you're taking that and saying, what can we do better with that?
Deadliest mushroom in the woods, right? It's been that way for well over 70 years.
Right.
And it's a whitetail killer. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. And so what we did is we said, hey, how can we make Core-Lock better? Not replace it, but make it better. So now we're offering Core-Locked and the brand new Core-Lock Tipped. So Core-Lock Tipped, we put a polymer tip on the round. Mm-hmm. It's got a better ballistic coefficient. It's longer range. It's flatter shooting. It's better accuracy. So we've really tried to take the Core-Lock terminal performance, knockdown power, and take that long range.
It's interesting because people may or may not know. You come from a long line of people in the firearms industry, the Hodgson Powder Company, the Hodgson family. And it's not just powder. You guys know guns and ammo and shooting and hunting, and you go all the way back. And with that history, you look at Remington, you're going, it's always been good, but the marketplace has changed.
That's right. That's right.
And you've got a very knowledgeable consumer now.
You do. And guys are hunting at further ranges, and with the advances in rifle technology and optics, just some really cool stuff out there. We got to keep pace with ammo, right? And so we're not stopping to make the old products. We're going to keep pushing that out there, but
which is
we're
good
going to
stuff,
innovate.
Which still works just quite well.
If you like your Core-Lock, keep shooting Core-Lock. That's great. But now, if you're that eastern part of the U.S. whitetail hunter, you're whacking them at 20 yards, but you want to take Core-Locked on a hunt out west. You're doing a big muley hunt, big elk hunt, pronghorn. You're shooting, 300 yards plus. I'd say check out Core-Lock Tipped. It's a great projectile, and it'll do a good job for you.
And this is brand new, so, how many calibers do we have in this yet? What's it available in?
So we started loading from 243 all the way up to 300 Win Mag.
Really?
And there's some new ones that we'll be adding, I'm sure, over the next few years. But, it's the common stuff. It's the 243s, the 270s, 308, 30-06, 6.5 Creedmoor, 300 Win Mag.
Well, that covers about 90% of the market.
You know what?
Anyway.
I think it's a good start. It's a really good start. So we're really excited about Core-Lock Tipped. We've got some other new products I could talk about.
We do. Let's go.
Awesome. So turkey season is coming up. I'm a big turkey hunter, and Remington's finally in the tungsten turkey game. So we've got Premier TSS coming out this spring.
Okay. For those who don't know, we overuse the term game changer.
Yes.
But TSS, it's like, okay, we used to think that 40 yards was a good shot on turkey, 50 yards was the long shot on turkey, and they're doing stuff with this ammo that I have never even imagined.
I mean, speaking about, hunting at longer ranges and being able to do new things with new technology, tungsten loads are game-changing. So it's a really dense, heavy metal. It's heavier than lead. And what that means is you can basically compare lead and tungsten about 2 shot sizes apart. So if you were used to shooting 5s before in lead, well, now you can shoot a 7. And what that means, Tom, is we can pack more pellets into that payload and send it down to that bird. So it's heavy stuff. And, you know, I was lucky enough to hunt South Dakota this last season.
Yeah.
Took out a couple birds at like 60 yards through some pretty thick brush. So to be honest, you know, with lead, maybe not the best shot, but with tungsten, man, it lays them down.
And I am seeing people talking about taking turkeys at 75, at 80 yards.
It's crazy.
Which would have been, actually, you would have said that is unsportsmanlike.
Right.
To even attempt
Unethical.
that shot, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, this will do it. And the other thing it's done, now you might just talk about this, is it's made smaller gauges good turkey gauges.
That's exactly right. So our new Premier TSS, we've got in 12 gauge, of course. And I got guys calling me for 10 gauge. You know, they must not like their shoulders. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're also loading in 20 and in 410. So now, you know, if you're smaller stature, if your 12 gauge is beating you up too much, maybe you want to take your kid out on the first turkey hunt.
Right.
Man, that 20 gauge or that 410, that's a great option because you can still be effective on a bird, not sacrifice terminal performance with a little less recoil.
Do you have to do anything, change your choke constriction when you're using the tungsten?
You know, I'd call your manufacturer of your choke and
Okay.
just double check with them and make sure that you can use your favorite
I'm just
choke
guessing
with
this
tungsten.
may pattern tighter is all I'm thinking
It does. It's tighter further out, right? So, you know, I know all the major choke manufacturers, they've been hearing about tungsten for years now.
Sure.
With, you know, Federal's Heavyweight, TSS, plenty other good tungsten turkey offerings out there. I'd say just contact your manufacturer and double check.
How about using this on waterfowl?
So we don't have any waterfowl tungsten loads yet under the Remington line.
Okay.
But if it'll work on a turkey, it'll work on a duck.
I'm just
That's all I'll
thinking,
say.
just
Yeah.
because it's got a turkey on the box doesn't mean
Sure.
you can't shoot a goose with it.
That's exactly right.
That's what I'm
exactly
thinking.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think it would work really, really well. And again, it's denser, tighter patterns further out with more retained energy when those pellets get there. So I think it's great. And you know, it costs us more to manufacture, so it's not as cheap as a lead product that you might find.
Nope.
But it's deadly. And you know, you
Well,
only
you're
get
not
out.
gonna, you're not going to shoot a lot of them.
No. And you know, you only get out and whack a couple birds a year like I do.
You pattern your gun with 2 or 3 shots. You know
Yes.
where you are.
Yep.
And now you're going to use 2 or 3 or 4 shots in a hunt. And so, okay, so you buy 10 a year. Now,
Right.
that doesn't help Remington a lot if we're only buying 10 a year.
Right. Not a great customer, but that's okay with me. Buy 5, buy 10, buy whatever you want. And so that's on the shot shell side, Tom. Now, handgun, I got a couple things I could hit on too if we got time.
Yeah, let me look. Yeah, we got time.
Okay, let me do that. So I think we've heard a lot of buzz at this SHOT Show about new 30 Super Carry.
Yes.
So brand new cartridge, brand new caliber that the folks at Federal Premium Ammunition came out with. Groundbreaking, right? It's, you know, I'm not a Federal guy, I'm a Remington guy, but
you're kind of sister companies.
we
under the same umbrella.
So I heard about some of the technology coming over. So we're supporting that new cartridge with Remington ammo as well. So we've got UMC, our FMJ rounds in 30 Super Carry, as
this
well as
this is brand new. This is news I have not even heard.
Yes, sir. So 30 Super Carry and UMC, great range round target load, as well as HTP, high terminal performance handgun. So for us, we're ready, and I know there's lots of gun companies that are going to be chambering handguns in this cartridge as well, in this caliber, and it's exciting. I think it's a really cool new piece of innovation.
You might just talk about the ammo plant in Lone Oak and kind of a little bit of the history of what it is and what you guys do.
Sure. So Remington ammo has been made in Lone Oak, Arkansas, which is center part of the state, close to Little Rock, since the 1960s. And so the old Remington moved ammo assets out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, and put them in Arkansas all the way back then. So if you've shot Remington ammo in the last 50, 60 years, it's come out of the exact same plant, right, that you're buying it from now, that we're making it at now. And so we have really, we've hired hundreds of folks in that factory.
Ooh.
We're working 24/7. And we are just getting as much ammo out the door as we can.
Coolest part of the factory, I mean, you got all this high-tech stuff. Coolest part of the factory is the oldest technology there, which is the shot tower.
Really cool.
I mean, really, right?
Really cool. So it's almost archaic, right? It's the same way we made shot 200 years ago.
Yes.
So we take molten metal and we cook it in a giant thing we call the kettle, a cauldron, and we drip it through a series of filters and screens. And then we use gravity to form that lead in the air into the shot sizes that we want. That
I mean,
molten
literally
lead.
pouring melted lead through a colander. It's amazing. It's got little holes in it, and then as it falls, and I don't know what this thing's 50, 60, 100 feet tall.
Oh, I think it's 11, 12 stories. I mean, it's huge.
it's really, really tall.
Yeah.
And it falls through the air, and then it actually forms the spheres.
That's right.
Perfect spheres.
Yep.
And then it falls into water, cools the lead, and then you collect it out of the bottom.
That's exactly
right.
right.
And like I say, this is how they did it 150, 200 years ago.
That's right.
And nobody's improved on that yet.
Sure, and to make a massive amount of lead shot, that is still the most cost-efficient, best way to do it. There's other technologies, right? You can drop it from a smaller length now into different kinds of water baths to make lead shot as well. But our shot tower, it's historic.
It is cool.
Yep.
Well, I'd say it's cool. It's actually hot when you when you climb up in there.
Yeah.
And it is. There's a lot of heat up there. You melt it.
And you want to wear your aspirator when you're up there too, because that's I'd like to have kids one day. I don't want to be breathing in all that, right?
A little bit of lead in the air.
That's right.
Exactly
that's
right.
But,
so you guys are hiring.
We're hiring, please. And if anybody is hearing me in Arkansas right now, come work for Remington. We're hiring all across our whole factory, from engineering, marketing, product management, on down to the floor, and into production. So we're really working hard.
And just frankly, it's not the Remington of old days.
That's right.
It's a new company with new leadership. It's it's exciting. Well, this whole Vista, everything you guys have been doing, everything Vista's doing. It's got to be cool for you.
It's a lot of fun to work with as big of a company as Vista is. And, now that we're not doing firearms, we're really focusing on ammo. And so I know the firearms folks are doing well, and I wish them luck. But we're going to focus on ammo and get some new products out there.
What's the website?
So www.remington.com.
Remington.com.
Remington.com.
Gee, even I can remember that one.
I think folks can figure it out.
Joel, thank you so much.
Good to see you, sir. Thanks,
Always
Tom.
a pleasure,
Yep,
man.
you too.
Very good. All righty, good deal. All right, we're going to be back in just a minute from the SHOT Show floor. We got Joel's going to be heading out. We're going to hot seat somebody else in here, but don't go away, because we're going to have some more news, and also a little bit of news about Second Amendment activism and what's going on that front as well. I'm Tom Gresham. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk. with you, Tom Gresham. The number doesn't really matter because this is recorded, so you can't call in anyway. I'm just basically sitting down and having people walking up and saying, "Hey, come!" It's like old home week. We're talking bullets with the Burger Bullets folks, Lapua. People call it Lapua or Lapua, whatever you want. It's really interesting the stuff you see here. A lot of people have said, "I'd love to come to the SHOT Show." And the deal is, it's an industry trade show. It's not open to the public. That doesn't mean that there's not a way to come. If you work with or know people who own a gun store, a lot of times you can get in that way. And there's a process that has to be vetted. But there are a lot of people walking the floors here who just basically, they work at a gun store or they know somebody with a gun store or they kind of work their way in. So, there's a way to get here, or at least there could be a way to get here. Very cool stuff. All right, we're doing the hot seat thing now. Cam, get over here. This is what you call live radio, live streaming. Right here, sir. Put that thing on there. We got Cam Edwards. He is, of course, the editor of Bearing Arms. How are you doing, partner?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Man, you just kind of walk in and throw that thing on like you knew what you're doing. You've done this once or twice.
After 20 years or so, you get used to it.
There you go.
How has your SHOT Show been so far?
Mine is good. It is so good to see you.
It's so good to see everybody in person, but it's really good to see you too. These last couple of years, I didn't realize just how antisocial I'd inadvertently become until after about an hour here walking the floor. It's like, I think I've said hi to more people in the last 60 minutes than I have in the last 12 months.
But, the reality is I think you actually come very easily to being antisocial.
Well, there is that. There's a reason I live on a farm in the middle of rural Virginia.
Mountain man out in the middle of nowhere growing your beard till you look like ZZ Top
Hey,
or
listen,
something.
this is a beard with a purpose. You know this. You know the story behind the beard.
Story.
All right, so, ordinarily, when somebody you love and you care about gets diagnosed with cancer and they have to go through chemotherapy, you shave your head, right? But
too late.
If you're already bald,
what do?
Then your wife says, "Grow a beard for me." And so you start to grow a beard.
Okay.
And then the treatment seems to be working, and 5 years later, the doctor's saying you're a miracle. And the medicine is working, and the tumors are shrinking, and now you're so superstitious, you're not going to cut this beard off.
This thing off now.
I don't think that this. I'm pretty sure this isn't the reason why she's doing so well, but I'm not 100% convinced that I'm not going to mess with it.
Why take a chance?
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And really, really best wishes to her.
I appreciate it.
It's terrific.
It really is amazing, and I got to say the support that we have received from the Second Amendment community. Girls with guns, a girl in a gun club. I mean, all of those, the women of the Second Amendment world have adopted my wife and have just, kept her in their thoughts and prayers. And it really, this is a great community anyway. You know that. I know it.
We were having that conversation at lunch, and that's the term I used. And I said, what people don't understand until they get here into this industry is, because I said, people don't generally leave the firearms industry. Mm-hmm. They may move around.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because if you get here and you're comfortable, if you're not comfortable, you're going to bug out. But if you're comfortable, you say, this is my place.
Yeah.
These are my people. And they're also pleasant, and they're also welcoming, and they're also warm. And I know that sounds like Pollyanna stuff that we're just making up, but it is absolutely true.
As long as you're not trying to strip us of our rights and take our freedoms away, we're really nice people.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And your family. I mean,
and you want to be part of it. You want to welcome them in, and it's just the other part is I tell the story all the time. There are no other industries I'm aware of where when you work for a company that you could be friends with somebody who works at a competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, here the guys at Ruger are going to dinner with the guys from Smith.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, so what? It's just not a big deal. Community is exactly the right word.
Yeah, and it's a great community, and it is a growing community, and that's one of the things that I'm most excited about is, coming out here. I don't know if you've had this experience, Tom, but normally you and I have been going to SHOT Show long enough that you walk half an aisle down and you've said hi to 3 or 4 people. I've been really impressed at the number of people I don't recognize within the industry this year.
It's like. Okay, you'll love this story. For my late mom, small town in Louisiana, in my brother's restaurant, and the town's growing, And at a certain point, she sits there and she's looking around. She says, "Something's wrong." I said, "What?" She says, "I don't know everyone here."
Right?
And that's kind of the feeling here. It's like, I don't know everyone here, but on reflection, that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It is a good thing because I think it shows how strong this industry is. The real, despite all of the challenges that the industry faces. I was speaking with Larry Keene from the National Shooting Sports Foundation just a short time ago. I mean, and there is this concerted effort once again to use the courts to try to bankrupt the firearms industry, whether it's the government of Mexico or the state of California.
They're starting it again. They're doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. Everything old is new again because they got no new ideas.
Well, and they know, honestly, that's the silver bullet.
Yeah.
Because if they can do that, if they can bankrupt us through lawsuits, then it simply goes away. And they say, well, we never passed any laws. We didn't do anything to you. The old deal of, what do we hear? No one wants to take your guns away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, nobody wants to take your guns away, but we just don't want you to be able to buy ammunition. We don't want you to be able to buy any new guns.
Right.
And oh, yeah, by the way, once we've accomplished that, then we're going to come try to take your guns away.
Yeah, of course we are. That's what we do. All right. Quick break here. We're going to come back and talk about what you're doing over at Bearing Arms and kind of get your take on where we are in this whole Second Amendment battle because it's a shifting landscape.
Yeah.
We're talking with Cam Edwards, BearingArms.com. Thank you for being here. We'll be right back with more gun talk. All right, we're back at the SHOT Show visiting with our good buddy Cam Edwards from Bearing Arms. BearingArms.com. It might just, for those who might not know, explain what it is.
Sure. So BearingArms.com was actually started by our good friend Bob Owens about a decade or so ago, and I am the current editor there. I am filling some big shoes from Bob Jakes, who's now with the Firearms Policy Coalition, but we are a website that focuses on Second Amendment news and issues, and we are not a guns and gear website. We're not where you're going to go to get the product reviews, but if you want to know about the latest court filings in a lawsuit, that's challenging the right to keep and bear arms, that's where you go to find us. If you want to keep up with what's going on with constitutional carry in a state like Alabama or down in Florida, we've got you covered. So we're more on the politics and policy side.
Which you've been covering for 2 decades.
Which I've been covering for 2 decades now, since 2004 on a daily basis.
Cam & Company. For those who, a lot of people know you strictly through Cam & Company. They go, what happened to him? This is where he is. You can find him right now.
You can find me at BearingArms.com. We also still are doing a daily Cam & Company podcast. You can find that on Rumble. You can find it on YouTube, all of the podcast platforms. And it's, still very much an interview-driven show. We try to, I always say, if I'm the smartest person you hear on the show, then I've failed because I want to learn from the guests that we have on.
Amen, brother.
And so, we're reaching out to all kinds of great folks. In fact, today's show, Tom, we spoke with Ryan Petty, whose daughter Elena was murdered in Parkland, Florida.
Right.
Ryan is here at SHOT Show.
Okay.
Ryan is now an FFL. Ryan is a federal firearms licensee. He has his own gun store. Not many people know this, but Ryan was a gun owner long before Parkland. In fact, he and Elena used to go shoot. She used to love to go shoot the AR-15. That was their favorite father-daughter activity.
Wow.
And after Parkland, Ryan did some soul searching. He thought,
sure.
could gun laws have changed this? And he came to the conclusion, no. This was a failure of the educational system. This was a failure of law enforcement. And ultimately, the person responsible is the one who pulled the trigger.
Right.
And so this was a really powerful conversation with Ryan about why he is involved in the firearms industry, what he wants to do with his own gun shop, and he wants to actually start manufacturing firearms.
And he has been willing to speak out about this.
He has.
And, a lot of people in the media are going, how can you possibly be speaking out in favor of gun rights in the Second Amendment after this? But the problem is they won't listen to it.
Right.
They don't even want to hear the message.
That's the thing. I mean, there is this expectation within the media of, okay, if you were the victim of a violent crime or somebody you love was the victim of a violent crime, well, you must automatically, the right side to be on is the side of gun control. And that's not what we see. But I think a lot of times, these folks who don't immediately turn around and say, all right, we need more gun laws, look, not all of them want to be activists. They don't necessarily want the spotlight. They know that they're going to get criticized.
Well,
They know
what's coming their way. They're going to be hammered.
Yeah, and so for someone like Ryan or Andrew Pollack,
right,
to speak up and to use the voice and the platform that they've been given to say, listen, here's what we do to keep our kids safe. Here's what we do to keep our schools safe. And it's not trying to restrict everybody else's right to keep and bear arms, but these are the concrete steps we can do. And Ryan has those concrete steps. He's been talking with everybody from county sheriffs in Florida to the Secret Service for years about the most effective ways to prevent these targeted attacks in schools. And again, not one of these things involves infringing on your right or my right to keep and bear arms.
Okay, let me switch on you a question for you. Why do we have so many new first-time gun buyers?
So I think there's more than one answer. Because this has been going on for 2 years now. What I call the great gun run of 2020 has now lasted, well into 2022. And I think you go back to March of 2020, I think that first initial wave was people saying, what is going on in the world? I don't know what's happening here with these lockdowns, and all of a sudden we've got essential businesses and non-essential businesses.
We have riots.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was later. So I'm talking about March, right?
Okay.
So that was the first wave. And then late May, early June, the George Floyd riots all across the country, and that was another big wave.
Government-sanctioned, enabled riots, where we're going to go burn down hundreds of buildings, of businesses, and the mayors are going to tell the police, you need to pull back and just let it burn, baby.
Exactly. And so that was another wave. And since then, we've seen the defund the police movement, linger. Violent crime has shot up, and a lot of these
releasing criminals from jail, violent criminals.
Yeah, no bail, no bond necessary. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. Doesn't matter what you're accused of right now. Just we'll see you in court. You're released on your own recognizance.
We know you're actually a good guy who's been misunderstood.
Exactly. So I think it's common sense that you've got millions of Americans who are looking around at this saying, this is ridiculous. I now realize in a way that it never really got home to me before. I am responsible for my personal safety. I'm responsible for the safety of my family, the people I love.
That's a large leap for people to take. Don't you think?
It is. Especially, look, if you haven't grown up around guns, or if you've grown up with the attitude of guns are bad, it is a huge leap. But again, when you're looking at these stories, day after day of prosecuting attorneys, of district attorneys who say, I'm not going to put violent criminals in prison because that's not where they need to be. I think the logical reaction to that is, okay, well, if the state isn't going to protect me, then it's up to me to protect myself.
And if you're being told, you can call 911, but as official policy, we're not going to send anybody.
Right.
We're not going to send the police to help you.
Yeah.
And people are going, well, I guess I'm the only one that's left here. And, of course, our reaction cynically is, well, welcome to the party. Guess who just woke up? Because you were actually the only one who was going to take care of this anyway.
So there is that aspect to it, yes. And there is a part of me that wants to say, just like you, well, what took you so long?
Yeah. At the same time, you want to say, come on in.
I'm glad you're here.
We're going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what they don't even know the right questions to ask.
Right.
And that's where we, collectively, in this community, need to say, yes, they're brand new. They don't know anything. Don't be making fun of them. Reach out your hand and offer to take them to the range. Offer to help them. Get them started the right way. Get them to a class. Just you don't even have to go to the range. Just have a conversation.
Yeah.
How are you storing your gun? Is it being stored safely? Let's talk about all the things that you have no idea. Where they always go, I never thought of that. Yeah, I know. That's why we're going to have this conversation.
Yep, exactly. And that's where I think gun owners, we do have a real role to play here because, as you say, there are so many people who are coming into this just sort of flying blind. They may not have friends or family members who are gun owners that they can count on.
Right.
So if we can be, I think I've talked about this before. I use the term ambassador. If we can be a good ambassador for the Second Amendment, if we can be good ambassadors for gun ownership and reach out to those folks who are new, that's going to pay huge dividends, not only in terms of having safe and responsible gun owners, but I think it's also going to help us in terms of Second Amendment activism as well.
It will. And honestly, we know not everybody who's bought a gun is going to become a Second Amendment even supporter. Forget activists, not even supporter. But some are. And if you said, okay, if we could get 30%, if we get another 10 million people who just bought guns, and we pick up 30% of that, and we just picked up 3 million people who now vote on the basis of gun rights, that's big.
That's big. That swings elections.
That swings elections. Yeah, we saw a lot of them that were that close.
Right.
And all you got to do is swing that needle a little bit that way, and we'll get there.
Listen, I'm still convinced that gun owners had a big part in Republicans taking back statewide offices in Virginia last year.
Oh,
so
I agree completely. Yeah, and of course, you're right there. You get to see the whole thing transpire around you. There you go. Tell you what, take a quick break here. We're talking with Cam Edwards from, let's see, Cam & Company, Bearing Arms. No telling what else you're all involved with now.
We've got all kinds of stuff. There's a weekly podcast that comes out about once a month that I'm doing as well. That's sort of non-2A related, right? So yeah, we've got. But Bearing Arms is the one you really need to remember.
Okay, of course you are. All right, I would give out the number, but there's no point in calling because this is a recorded show. So we'll be right back with more gun talk. All right, we're back with you. Tom Gresham. It is Gun Talk, in the very last segment of our show from SHOT Show, visiting with our very good friend, Cam Edwards. Cam, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you as always for the invite. I love getting a chance to spend time with you, Tom, anytime.
It's just fun. It's like there's so many places we want to go.
Right.
And spin it up and go. And what people probably ought to know is that it's kind of the same way when we talk on the phone. It's like we do the exact same thing as this, right?
Yep.
Say, yeah, but what about this? What about this? Okay. So during the break, we're talking, same thing we're doing here. The need for people to be involved and the impact and change that can make.
So, again, I saw this in Virginia in 2019 when Democrats took control of the state government for the first time in 30 years and immediately said, we're going to go after your AR-15s. We're running on gun control. And we saw the start of the Second Amendment sanctuary movement. I mean, Tom, I went to county supervisors meetings that had to get moved to the local high school because you had 1,400 people show up in a county of about 20,000.
Wow.
This was incredible to watch. And I saw this not just in one county, but in dozens of counties.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really started waking people up to the fact that, they've got to be the government watchdogs now. You can't rely on the media. You can't rely on even your local officials. You've got to get out there. And we're now seeing this with people showing up for their school board meetings. I think we've got a more engaged citizenry. And in Virginia, I think the assault on our right to keep and bear arms was sort of the starting point. It was the wake-up call.
Even for the school issues that we're seeing in Virginia, you said something there, and I wanted to spin off on that and being involved in the government. And I'm thinking, no, actually what we need to be thinking is we are the government. They're not the government. We're the government.
We the people.
They represent us, but we are, in fact, the government. And when we start thinking about that, we're thinking we're going to hold, not only we're going to hold them accountable, but we better find out what they're doing. And the only way to do that is to show up.
Yeah.
Show up, stand up, speak up. Simple as that. And when we start doing that, as you have said, we start affecting change.
We do. Listen, I talked to, I don't know how many gun owners in 2019 and earlier 2020 who said, we were just asleep at the switch. I didn't vote. I haven't voted in 10 years because I thought we were a safe state. I'm never missing another vote again. And in November, we saw in these rural counties, Tom, not only did the margin of victory increase. I mean, these are already conservative counties.
Okay.
But instead of, Republicans winning, let's say, 65-35, they were winning 75-25. They were winning 80-20, 85-15, and the turnout was way higher than it had been 2 years earlier. So there was massive increase in turnout, and it was all in one direction. It was all for the conservatives. So that tells me that, yes, this had a lasting impact on a lot of voters, and they're not going to go back to sleep, at least not anytime soon.
And take that and project it forward. There are a lot of people who are not in Virginia, haven't seen that, and they're thinking, I'm still in a safe state.
But you're not.
There's no such thing as a safe state. There's not. The Brady campaign, the Bloomberg dollars are in your state no matter where you are. They're beating on the legislature. And if you're not there when they have gun day there, if you're not involved in your state organization, you won't even know what's going on. And they are going to do things. It's like you can either be there and affect what's happened, or you can sit on the outside and they will come out and tell you what they did to you.
Absolutely. And I would say, too, even if you live in what you think is a safe state, you might have some complacent pro-gun legislators who are willing to keep the status quo in place rather than actually work to advance freedom. I mean, we're seeing this right now in Alabama where there's some struggles with constitutional carry.
Right.
State of Ohio where you got people, I don't know if I want to do this. We need to hold their feet to the fire, too. So even if you live in a good state, it can always be better.
Right. And, it can be a Republican, but there can be better Republicans out there, too.
That's right.
So there's that as well. So, Cam, again, it's bearingarms.com.
Yes, sir.
Very good. And you can find Cam and Company where?
YouTube, Rumble, all of the major podcast platforms.
Always a pleasure. Anytime you want, you're welcome here.
Well, now that I got an open invite, we'll have to do this way more often.
I'm good with that. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, man, thank you for everything you do, Tom. Thank you so much.
It is terrific. All right, thank you, everybody. We are wrapping it up here at the SHOT Show 2022 in Las Vegas. It has been fun, and then you get to a certain point, you say, it's time to go home. You have yourself a safe week. Get involved in Second Amendment activism. It can make all